All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. This is the closeout party for first issue Rokan Volume 1. With me is artist Max Headshroom and another artist, the artist from the Immortal Astardi, our partner, Nick Unlisted.
How's it
How's
going,
it
gentlemen?
going, Nick?
All right. Well, we're live, and I want to be the first one to congratulate you two on becoming fully funded. It's pretty fucking cool, my guys.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was
Cheers,
it was
Nick.
sticky there in the middle, but we made it. And as such,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah. I don't
gotta
have anything.
I'm gonna wear
That's
this hat
that's a big deal, man.
for however long we stream. I'll keep this hat on. I'm gonna pour myself a drink here too. Little drinky poo.
I don't have anything to drink. I'm
You're at
sorry.
work.
I've got a sun hat.
That's a good hat.
That's a good one. I like
I've
that.
got a Del Monte hat.
Oh
There you
man,
go.
I can't even keep up. What am I doing? Fun times. So, when you said it felt sticky in the middle there, tell me about
Yeah.
what
Well,
happened.
I was talking to Del, and one of the things that he knows a lot about is this Venezuelan cachaça is really strong. Only takes a little bit. Ooh, Lord, that's strong stuff. This is how poor people get drunk in Colombia.
Well,
Poor people like me, Venezuelan liquor.
nope, that's not gonna
It
work.
was sticky in the middle because like the first $1,000 we raised in the first few days, people I think are really excited to contribute at the beginning of the campaign and get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
The second $1,000 were really tooth and nail, like hard to build them, like pushing a boulder up a mountain. And then the last $1,000 were easy because people saw that the campaign was coming to an end, and it seems like a lot of people that were following the campaign ended up contributing to it. I still don't understand why they didn't contribute as soon as they knew about it. I guess they were like, I don't know. There could be a lot of things going
they're
on. Who knows?
they're waiting to see if
But
other people are contributing. They're like hanging out in
yeah,
the back.
that seems to be something that happens a lot. I don't
Yeah.
understand it,
Well, I
but
feel like the first portion that you make, like the first grand or whatever, at least for Dave and I, was like all the people that we knew were really into it, right?
Yeah.
Like
mm,
our friends and like other creators and like people that were already excited about it or like that were friends or fans of Danny's. So like all those people contributed first. And then it was
right.
like, okay, there's a lull, and then you got to keep pushing it, keep marketing it. Be like, hey, this is going on, and then that second grand,
That's harder
well,
to
yeah,
get.
is that slow
Mm.
push. But then all those people tell their friends, and then it fucking, swoop.
Yeah, it gets to a point right around 2/3 of the goal where then it's easy again because by that time the word of mouth is spread to where you want it to
Yeah,
be,
and
and the
it's
rest of
it's
it takes
close
care of
enough.
itself.
Yeah, it's close enough to the right side of the goal that people are like, okay, this is probably gonna get there, so they feel more
Yeah,
comfortable putting the money in.
yeah, I think that's another thing too. I think a lot of people don't want to support a project unless it gets funded. Because I recently backed a couple of things on Kickstarter that didn't actually get funded, and so now I don't know what happens if I get my money back or if I just lose it. You
Yeah,
know,
just lose
so
it.
you
That's
just
honestly,
lose it, don't you? So I
yeah,
think a lot of people are worried about that,
yeah.
which
Well,
is totally understandable.
yeah, it's totally. It's like it's a donation to the cause. There's no guarantee that it's gonna happen, but that's something that
Right.
Dave and I were pretty adamant about putting out when we started doing it.
It feels like you and he when you kind of had an email list of sorts unofficially, even though you didn't have an email list, because at the beginning you already had
Damn, you're putting me up
like
like that, dog.
no, I'm saying like because you already had like Danny Asadi fans
Yeah,
interested in the project, and other people. So it's like you already kind of had a following, which was it was fool. Our biggest mistake. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, our biggest mistake was just assuming that we didn't that it would just that I don't know what we were thinking actually, because saying it out loud sounds retarded. But we didn't have a following when
surely
we
these
started
people
the
Well,
are
I think
campaign.
I think we thought that we'd do what we did do, but which was put the book out and then build up the momentum for the book as the campaign went on.
Yeah.
But when the first night that we jumped on, we were sort of made aware pretty quickly that you're supposed to do like an advertisement build up for your campaign, so you could potentially get it funded that almost on the first evening. So we were like, "Fuck!" and everybody was saying, the chances when we got into all the groups, everybody was saying the chances of you getting funded are pretty minimal. So we were like,
"Yeah, people didn't give us a good prognostication, but I never lost hope, man. I believed it.
I lost hope immediately.
I had already written up a resignation for Ben, and I was just ready.
You were looking for other writers to work with. Man. You're looking at other projects.
This crazy Leo DiCaprio looking motherfucker.
Nah, man, you did it. You pushed it.
Yeah, dude.
And we did it.
And you deserve it, man. Like, fucking, the writing is phenomenal. The artwork, dude. Every time I see something of yours coming out, Max, I'm just like, God damn it. He's so much better than me.
Nah, man, we're just different. Just different artists.
I know,
I love your shit. Your stuff's great.
Dude, we got to do an art trade one of these fucking days.
Absolutely. Let me know what you want to do. I'll do it. 100%.
This is a good time. Go ahead.
I'll do a fan art of Rokan. You do a fan art of Asadi. And then
I've already started one of Asadi, so I can send that one over to you pretty soon.
That's going to be awesome. Me and Del and I have talked about doing a crossover.
Yeah.
So I had the idea. I was telling Max recently. I had the idea.
Oh yeah, you'll like this, Nick.
Tell me.
When we do the crossover, I need to have both of you working on it. And so the way I'm writing the story is that there's parts where there's a part where Rokan gets transported into Asadi's world, and then there's a part where Asadi gets transported back into Rokan's world. So I think that it would be cool. I think you already know where I'm going. Rokan's world is drawn by Max.
Yep.
With Asadi drawn in Max's style.
Yeah.
And Asadi's world is drawn by Nick, with Rokan drawn in Nick's style for that portion. So a collaboration between the two of you. And it'll be a larger book than the 24-page floppy.
I can't wait.
But not
Nick,
massive either.
I want to do a transition page, Nick, that we both work on, where either Asadi or Rokan is passing through something.
Some dimensional portal.
Yeah.
He's
Asadi.
He's like looking at Asadi. He's like, you look a little weird, man. He's like, what do you mean? He's like half you, half me style.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like maybe one of them looking at a reflection of himself, or passing part of his body through a dimension, and half of it you can draw, and half of it I'll draw.
That's
so he's like,
cool, like
he's literally So the aesthetic of the dimensions actually changes, and the characters notice.
Dude.
So we can work on like a big piece together then.
Yeah, that would be
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, a little wicked, man.
Because that's definitely something that Zach would be able to do. Because he's all in. If he can transport you through time, he could probably transport you to another dimension, which is a very similar pathway.
Yeah, another dimension is just another time.
It's
changed, right?
Over.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You just put your blinker on and you fly into that.
That's it.
Yeah, Zach could totally do that. I mean, the stories, the characters really work well together. I mean, the powers are in the same wheelhouse, you know?
Yeah, well, Zach could do it, and the mages in your world could do it too.
Exactly.
They might even
because like I wanna what I've been writing, like the first like little spitball that I've written up is based on the fact that Asadi is a dream interpreter.
Right.
And what Asadi basically does is, okay, so there's two basic plot devices that I'm playing with. Asadi interpreting Rokan's dream on the one hand, and then Asadi having his own dream to anticipate a fight with someone. So I think that it would be cool if Asadi dreams has a dream of fighting Rokan, but instead of Rokan in the dream, it's a Manticore in the dream, and then the dream gives Asadi like clues as to how Rokan's magic works.
Hmm.
And then when he encounters Rokan, then Rokan gets transferred into the wrong world. When he encounters Rokan, he knows how to deal with his sword, how to deal with his powers, so Rokan isn't able to overpower him.
Where do you set it in the line, the timeline of each story? Is it like after each story or during or?
It's gonna be after the first arc for Rokan, so there's still a while
Yeah. How many
before we
books are
do
in
it.
your first series? Because ours is 6.
Yeah, maybe 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
about
it'll
the
be like
same.
So
the
it would be
end of.
about like it would be like after the first series for
That
each
would probably, I mean,
title.
the timing for that would probably work out really well too, because like both Dave and I are really busy this year. So we'll probably get, like, hey, don't quote me on this, but we'll probably get at least one more book out by the end of the year, maybe 2. But it's going to be really hard to do that, because initially we wanted to get most of the rest of the series done before the end of the year, but it's already fucking June. I've been gone like 3 out of the last 6 months. I haven't even been home, you know. And I know Dave's super, super busy. So realistically, we'd probably get like the next 2 books finished.
Yeah.
You guys have 8, and you work really fast. You work incredibly fast. I'm actually really, really envious about how fast that you work.
Me?
Man. Yeah. Compared to me, dude. Oh my God.
You're not
Shit, man.
fast. You're just fast compared to Nick.
Yeah, exactly. Like in relative terms, you know.
Right.
So we'll probably have, yeah, I mean, it's likely that you'll have 6 issues out around the time we have 8 issues out. So we'll be each finishing, Rokan will be finishing his first story, Asadi finishing his first story, and then they cross over. That's the grand plan.
That's so cool, man. I'm so on board with that. I love that. And I really like
Wicked.
that we're already expanding the tier 1 universe. Instead of just being Asadi, now it's going to be like a blanket thing. We have all these cool titles and awesome indie creators involved, and like we're the building blocks, we're the foundation of this. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, isn't it? It's exciting.
yeah, I really think that this group right here is going to be able to do a lot of things with indie comics.
I think so too. And everybody that wants to make their own indie comics makes their own label as well. And so what you see in the indie comics sphere, whatever, is like every title has its own brand. So it's like one title per brand. And I just don't think that makes logistic sense, you know?
Yeah.
So why would I make my own brand if I have just one title? Wouldn't it make more sense for there at least to be two creative teams and 2 books coming out under the same banner? Then it's actually an imprint, you know?
It's easy
Yeah.
for them to disappear in the sort of swamp of labels as well, isn't it? When there's loads of
Right.
them.
Oh yeah. Do you ever go through the 90s bin in your comic book shop, and there's like a fucking 100 different labels of cool comics, really fucking cool comics?
Yeah, but you don't remember the label, yeah.
Right. I just picked a few up the other day. They're like, the comics were fucking awesome, but like the companies, never even heard of them. Like never once in my life.
Right.
So
And that's what's going to happen to all of these, I'm not going to name names, but all of these companies that it's just like we said, one label for
Yeah.
your one title. No one's going to remember those.
well,
Did you know Leonard Nimoy had his own comic label?
did he?
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
I've got one of the issues down there somewhere. It was
Cool.
it was about alien animals in space.
That's really cool.
It's fucking weird, man.
I've got one of those.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab it right now.
Do you know what I'm on about?
There you go. You know,
See what
this
see
isn't
what he
comic
says,
book
anyway.
related, but Gillian Anderson writes sci-fi novels.
Does she?
Yeah, she writes
Okay.
stories that are similar to X-Files, and that just like X-Files is very near and dear to me. So like,
Yeah, same.
knowing that Scully writes books about it, I'm just like, who cares?
I've still got the hots for Gillian Anderson, especially when she started talking in a flawless English accent.
Well, she's English.
Fucking great. Is she?
Mhm.
Ah, so she was talking in a flawless American accent.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah. See?
The older she gets, the more I fancy her.
English can always do American accents, but not vice versa.
Well, it's
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Our accent's really flat, you know?
I've always had a crush on David Duchovny. Like, I'm not gay, but he's a good-looking dude.
Hey, I'm not gay, but I would make out with that guy.
Check this out.
That's it. Primortals. That's the one.
I just bought this. How unlikely is that?
How fucking weird. I've only got one issue. I had the first issue when I was about 8 and I lost it. And then I just accidentally came across it in like a thrift store in the middle of Litchfield. And I got my wife to buy it for me.
Me too, but in Bogota, not in Litchfield. I bought it because it has an anthropomorphic. It's in really bad shape, so I got a really good price on it. It's like torn up and stuff. But I got it because it's got an anthropomorphic rhinoceros, which I think is really
comics,
cool.
That's it. Tech
comics. Yeah, no one gives a shit about tech comics, right?
Right.
Like you shouldn't have made it. Like Leonard Nimoy, cool that you're making comics, but you shouldn't have made your own label, dude. Like you should have gone on someone else's label. And I really love this Roman border here.
Gotten on with Marvel, he totally could have.
See that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I was trying to think of the time it came out. The first time I picked it up, I think I was about. Does it got the year on it?
Let me look. It must do. Grupo Editorial V. Oh, this is the Mexican print.
Investigative work.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
I'm saying 95 or 6. Maybe
that sounds about right, yeah. Yeah, it was whatever time, it was when, what was this, Kyle, what was that Green Lantern's name? Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner.
That's the advert in it.
Early 90s then. Mid-90s.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Shit, man! What are the fucking odds of you having that?
It's getting spooky, man.
Knowing what I was talking about,
it's getting spooky how alike we are, and not just how alike we are, but how like we do similar things without thinking and without contacting each other about it. That's really weird.
Speaking of comic book shops, so you're in Bogota. You're in somewhere in England. I don't remember where.
Litchfield.
You said that already. I was listening. Have you guys located comic book shops in your area to distro issues of Rokan to?
There isn't any comic book shops in my area. I have to travel like a good hour to get to Birmingham, like the nearest city, before there's only 2 comic book shops there.
That's a good question, actually. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's something that we now that we're funded, that's something that we need to start thinking about is physical distribution.
I do know a guy.
Go ahead.
Sorry, mate. I do know a guy that works in a comic shop. That first one I did in 2018, we got a few copies. Got a few copies in there, and we did an open day there, like a book signing. So I could get in there and put some in there. If you come down, mate, then we could do a day at book signing and then go and get pissed afterwards.
Woo.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I'll just be your hype dude. I'll just be like, did you guys know that fucking Max Henry and Ben Rokan
today?
I just bought the book and I was just blown away.
We'll print a T-shirt with like my egg head and then Ben's head there.
I would fucking wear that.
You know what would be really? I was thinking, what would be a really cool? I don't know how like copyright laws work or whatever, but you guys read Calvin and Hobbes, obviously.
Yeah.
There was one strip. I haven't been able to find it, but if I have to go through every Calvin and Hobbes book, I'll find it. There was one strip in one issue where because Hobbes is supposed to be really good at drawing. So Hobbes was drawing something, and Calvin was like really eccentrically explaining to him what he wanted him to draw. And I think it would be hilarious when we're together in real life if we recreated that
Okay.
panel. You know, like
Yeah, okay.
I want him to have a
you would-
hat, but it's worn, you know, but he's got his arms, and it's fucking insane, and you're like,
And I mean, you wouldn't
Right.
necessarily have to wear a tiger costume, but as long as you juxtapose the panel with the photograph of us,
maybe
Yeah.
just
you
wear a
get the
shirt
idea.
with
If
Hobbs
I
on
were,
it.
yeah, if I wear a
Yeah.
tiger costume, it's going to delve into furry territory.
Yeah, that's too much. But like, as I just taking a photograph together and then putting it side by side with that panel would be
Yeah,
really
man.
fun. Would be really awesome.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Cool.
That'd be great.
I gotta
As soon as
find
we
the
can
panel
fucking
first.
travel again, man. Travel restrictions.
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be hopefully
Yeah,
not
what
so
the fuck?
bad the next year.
Things
I
are
mean,
looking up.
I need to travel to the United States for fulfillment because I'm gonna print and ship from the United States.
Well, if you need any help with that, let me know.
What do you mean?
You know, I'm in the U.S., so if I can do something for you.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, you know,
He's
you
going to
and
fly
Doc.
you over.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I was
you know,
thinking. Like, I know
if
you're in the
you-
military. I don't know how
Come over
connected.
here.
put all my secrets out, guy.
I didn't know you were a helicopter pilot.
I'm not. I should be. I would be getting paid a lot more, and I'd probably not be so miserable. But fucking
Oh, dude.
Are you special forces too?
no. I was in that program, but I
Fucked
washed
it
out.
up.
Yeah.
You weren't that special,
Well, I
or you
had.
just didn't like to be told what to do as much. I'll let you tell me instead of answering for you. Jesus,
Yeah,
Ben, what's wrong with you?
I had a personality conflict with one of my instructors, and if you have a conflict with one of your instructors, you pretty much lose every single time.
Do you have
Yeah.
issues with authority, mate?
I do.
I
Same, mate.
do.
I do. Yeah, one of the guys that was like in charge, he's like, "You have an issue with assertive male authority." And I
You
was
go,
like,
no, I fucking don't. Go fuck yourself.
No, I was like, it's mostly just authority, like in general. Doesn't he's like, what? I was like, yeah, just anybody. Just doesn't have to be male or assertive. Just if you tell me what to do, I probably
It's
don't.
because you're an artist, mate.
Well, you're Rokan. You're Rokan because you're the best soldier that you can be, but at the same time, you don't take shit and you do things your own way.
Yeah, but
Sounds like a certain wizard hatted warrior I know.
well, I won't be doing this job for too much longer. My
Uh-oh.
contract is coming up to an end at the end of the year, and I think I'm ready to move on, do something else. Like I want to do this kind of stuff more full time.
Delve into the artwork a bit more.
Yeah, so
It's good, man. You should do.
That's what I want. I'll do something else it's a little bit more lucrative for a little while using my current skill set. But the long-term goal is to ultimately do artwork as close to full-time as I can.
You will be able to. It just takes time and a lot of effort. But
Yeah.
I think all three of us are on the same trajectory,
for sure.
moving away from our day jobs and
Oh my God.
trying to make this lucrative.
Yeah, and just do something that, I don't know, is enjoyable most of the time. Like,
I mean, definitely I've found that the more that I've poured into this, like the more feedback I've got. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more success you have, the more success you have.
Yeah.
So you just got to stick with it.
Even just like doing a Saudi, like I've gotten a lot of pings for commissions. Actually, I forgot to get back to somebody the other day. But I for the first time, I'm like, I don't have time to take these commissions, which is good and bad. Because
that's a good problem to have, right?
It's a good problem to have. Yeah, like, hey, I can't do this because I have too much else to do. Because I still have a full-time job, and then all of my art time is stacked with commissions. And like I'm in between books right now, so I can actually do commissions. But I've been in training and I've been in schools, so it's like I'm sliding it in there when I can, you know. Or I'm like,
raise your commission prices slightly every time you do it.
I know. What's up, Dale? What's going on? This is my buddy Dale.
What's up, Dale?
He's one of the guys that I'm in this course with. He's a really cool cat. I don't think he realizes the gravity of it. The exposure he just got for all the people watching.
I don't even want to look how many people are watching. I don't think it's fair.
I think it's just us hanging out together. But
That's all right.
That's okay. I can't look onto YouTube. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. And I should start raising my commission prices. It's just, I feel bad right now because I can't always get them done in a very timely manner. But I do brief that ahead of time.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But
doesn't matter. It's about the piece, assuming that you're not like going 12 months over, like a couple of weeks here and there or whatever. It's the piece that they're asking for, really. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But,
one of the
getting some of the prices off some of the semi-professional artists from Comic Skate, mate. I was like, how much are you charging? And I thought I was worried about what I was charging, so now I'm like, fucking hell.
No, actually, you'll be able to charge that much too, and soon.
Yeah,
you know,
I've already started doing it.
Good, you should do, because your work is top notch. Like, there's nobody that does better
Nix's
work than you. Nix's is close. Nix is. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm being honest. Like, I really think that Max is the top tier, and Nix is excellent.
I don't know,
but I really do think your work's better.
Figure drawing's fucking pretty good, man. Especially when he draws birds' asses.
Yeah, he does draw birds' asses good.
Really good. Yeah, I think your figure drawing's excellent, mate.
I really appreciate that.
I want to see who your models are that are posing for you.
Well, I can't, give up all my sources.
Do you use a lot of reference?
I'd say I do about 50-50.
Yeah.
I used to not use reference at all because I had this super weird art complex.
Bad move, boy.
I have to just do it from my mind.
Yeah.
And then I just kept making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And then I started taking my art seriously and reading all these books. And people were like, stop being a fucking idiot. Draw from life all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. So
two main things that artists tend to suffer from. I think that's one of them. And the other one is hating your own work, like the imposter syndrome thing.
That happens to you, Max, which I don't understand.
It's weird, mate. I have a really bad issue with it. I don't really dig any of my work.
I wish I could fly to England right now and smack you in the face.
I know,
that's really absurd. Like,
my wife says the same thing, but honestly, like, it gets stressful for me because I'll be worried every time I send Ben a picture. I'm like, is this the one I've fucked up and all the others I've just accidentally made good?
Okay, I'll tell you.
It's like having anorexia or something. I'm obviously not seeing what anybody else is seeing.
And like, I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like your perception of your work is not
reflective of reality at all.
Reflective of reality, and so I'm hesitant. I haven't had to, but I don't know what I would do if I had to tell you, like, I want you to redraw this because it's not exactly what I'm looking for, because then you think that it sucks, because it doesn't suck. You know what I mean?
No, I can separate constructive criticism still.
I'll tell you what I do.
Good.
I get the message from Dave. He wants something redone. And I go, no problem, bro. And then I set the phone down. I'm like, this motherfucker. I swear to God.
I'm all right. I'm all right with all that.
I feel way better because I actually needed to redo the artwork.
I'm gonna add another issue for artists, and that's that one.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like that. I used to proper fuck me up. It doesn't bother me at all now.
Like, okay, well, I'm glad to understand the difference. That you can take
it's
criticism.
I can take criticism. I love criticism because I love
criticism because I think it sucks too.
Yeah. So the conclusion that you come to is, how can I? Because I love doing art, I just don't necessarily enjoy how it turns out. So I'm always trying to improve. So if anyone has any constructive criticism, mind, I can still tell the difference between constructive criticism and bullshit criticism.
Right.
If it's constructive, then I always try and take it on board. Always, even if it's someone I don't like telling me.
Yeah, well, I don't have any criticism for you right now because every time I'm looking at your artwork, I'm just thinking like,
mate, I don't really have any for you. I think your stuff's great. I think you've got the same issue as me, to be honest.
I think I need to spend more time on facial drawings and putting items into space, because I usually draw things singularly, and I haven't done a lot of landscape or set drawing. So that's like something that I was learning how to do while I was making the first issue of Asadi.
Repetition.
Exactly. And, in small panels, right? And I was like, I fucking was going through some stuff. So I kind of pushed off doing the pages in a timely manner and ended up doing them kind of fast. Like I was doing like a page a day.
Sure, like, fucking up.
Oh, dude, I would go to work. I'd wake up for work at 5 a.m. I'd leave work at like 3, and then I'd get home and I would work on Asadi till 1 a.m. and then that over and over again.
Machine.
So there was some nights where I was just like fucking falling off the drafting table. You know what I mean?
No,
I was super, super time crunched, but we now have the luxury of the perception of time for the second book. Dave and
JC.
And JC are still fucking hammering out some of the finer details, but in the interim, I'm working on the cover page.
Excellent.
So I figured instead of waiting to do the whole book, then the cover page, like I could work on the cover page while they're working on the final details of the book. So things kind of get done at the same time.
That's something where I think you and Dave kind of maybe could do a better job on the second campaign, is having more art ready before launching, because
absolutely. And that was a deliberate decision that we made based on time. Ideally we would have had a campaign that was more reflective of yours, where you had the really cool artwork up front, but like Dave had a specific time frame in mind.
Yeah.
He was like, we have to keep this time frame.
On the one hand, you gotta hand it to him for sticking to these guns and getting it done in time. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, man. Art takes time, Like
it does, and we had talked about that quite a few times, where we wished that we could have had like the time, or at least had the story developed to a point where I was comfortable with doing like consistent artwork for it, so that we could put that out.
Because I feel like you went through hell getting Asadi issue 1 out in time because of how busy you were with everything else in your life.
It was a struggle, but
yeah,
some of it, a lot of it was my fault, based on like time management, but there was a lot of external influencers that were going on.
Hey man, look, was this your first comic book?
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. You can break it down into all sorts of different things, but the first comic book I did, it was only 10 pages, and I struggled doing that. And I think it's because it's partly expectation versus reality. You think, I get to do this comic book, Yeah. And then when that wall hits you, where you're like, fuck, I've got to do all these fucking pages, and I've got and I've got to do it on nights where I don't feel like fucking doing it. So
that's the thing.
Yeah, now it's not just when I'm super inspired. It's when it's every time I come home. Once you get through that, you get used to that slog. It actually gets a lot easier. Yeah, but that's that'll be it.
It was a lack of discipline thing on my part in that respect specifically. Like, there's other aspects of my life that I'm like really disciplined in, and then like artwork has always been kind of fun. But then now I turned it into
it's a job. Yeah.
How can you be disciplined in it if you've never tried the discipline? Like, essentially, it's something that you have to get used to. No worries. I went through the same thing, mate. Don't worry about it. And you end up feeling like a twat about it, but it's not your fault. You've been thrown into the deep end.
Yeah, now that it's over, and the first issue is over, and you guys will be here shortly. Now that like the book is out, like I was fucking so scared of what people were gonna say about the quality of the book when it got released. I can see every single flaw in it. And I'm like, I know I fucked that page up. Like, this is off. Like, oh my god.
Oh, that's how I feel about my stuff. I see everything.
People are gonna fucking tear this book apart, and but it's been so well received from the people who got it. Dave's taken copies down to his local comic book shop, and they sold out. It was like,
Oh, yeah?
he
Fantastic.
put like 30 copies on the fucking shelf, and they were gone.
Nice.
Which is blows
We
me
need
away.
to do that. We need to figure out a way to do that. The best thing would be if I just moved back to Florida permanently, which I want to do eventually.
Then we can put the tier 1 comics headquarters in Florida.
Yeah.
So Max, you're gonna have to move to Florida, big dog.
I'll move to Florida. I'm not sure if my bald head would take the sun though.
Yeah, that's okay. You got that cool hat, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a Florida hat.
But yeah, fucking once the book got released and it was received as well as it was, like it was like, man, like we fucking did that. That was fucking.
So, you happy with it overall?
I think overall, yeah. Like given the external circumstances that were involved and like the struggles that both Dave and I went through and like the fucking roadblocks that we hit, but we still pushed through. Like,
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the both of you.
I am. We hung on to your coattails partly. We used you as our guide, didn't we?
Well, we're not here to talk about my.
You know what the fuck we were doing.
We'll be honest with you, Max and I. Like you're right, Nick. When you said that we deserve it and that the story's great and the art's great, that's all true. But all of that notwithstanding, Max and I were both really terrified to actually go through with it and put it out there. We really were. We had no idea what we were doing or how to figure out what to do. And so I literally just have been stepping in Dave's footprints in the snow.
Dude, that guy is a fucking monster. Like,
isn't he? He's really something else.
He really is, man. Like, fucking, I'm so pumped to be working with a guy like that because, like, I don't think I could have figured that shit out on my own. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's the kind of guy where whatever he needs to do, he'll figure out how to do it and do it.
Yeah. And he's fucking tenacious, man. He's just like always fucking doing it, always on it, like pushing, finding people, making connections and shit.
Yeah.
And like he has the humility to bring other people on and accept like input from other people, which enables him to maximize his network, which is, I think, probably one of the key things that makes him able to fucking do this type of stuff.
For sure.
Like you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just the kind of guy that attracts good people around him.
Yeah, I mean, he plucked you out of the ether of the internet. You know, he identified you. He's like, this guy's fucking cool. Bam.
He has like a sixth sense for finding the people that he needs.
Well, Ben, you don't have to say much to sell yourself. You're a very intelligent person.
Yeah. Ben's my Dal because I do fuck all as well. Just do the artwork.
Fucking sick.
I'm just not good at that side of it.
It's a hard.
I'm all right once I've thrown into something, but
yeah. Well, I think it's.
But you don't.
You are.
I said I think it's fucking incredible that you guys have been able to do all this stuff the way that you have, and fucking. Because a lot of people fizz out, you know what I mean? Like they have idea, they put a couple concepts together, and then they're just like, you know.
So in the Bible, there's a verse where Jesus tells a parable about two farmers' sons, and the farmer says, "Right, I need you guys to go work in the field today because we have a big crop." And the first son says, "Yeah, of course, that's what I'm gonna do today." And then and the second son says, "No, I don't feel like it. I have other things to do." And then the first son ends up getting tired and quitting right away and doesn't actually work in the field all day. And says like, "Fuck this." And then the second son, you know, fools around for a little while, and then he says, "Okay, let me go work in the field. Actually, that's what I need to do." So like, I think everyone here is of the second variety. Especially Max and I. Like we're very trepidatious about starting new things at first, but once it gets going, we finish it. We do not quit.
Yeah, I'm not quitting.
I know.
We're gonna get all of them done.
Dude,
exactly.
I'm
committed to it now
to get my copy.
Yeah, I think the only thing that was that took us this long really was just getting it right, which I also think is a good thing because
Absolutely.
I wasn't going to make this book with anyone that wasn't the right artist to make it with, and I wasn't going to publish it with anyone that wasn't the right company to publish it with. So, I had to meet, I had everything came together at the right time, meeting Max and meeting Dave and you. And it's pretty crazy, the
Yeah.
timing
Dude,
of
honestly, like
everything.
Max, I don't think like now that I've seen your renderings of this universe, like there's nobody else. Like
Yeah.
your renderings are like precisely what I would imagine this should look like.
Thanks, man. That's what I was going for.
For me specifically, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I had this really surreal experience, like I felt like I was in the Matrix, like if I'm going to wake up, because this can't be real. Because I mean, I saw Max's work on his Instagram, and I envisioned, I mean, not precisely, not exactly, I didn't have a vision of the exact paintings that he made, obviously, but I had a sense that this style would translate correctly to my characters, and I was right,
Look at you go, Max. You're just fucking killing it, man.
The story lends itself to a traditional style, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. If it had been a cyberpunk story, I probably wouldn't have gone that way.
That's more
right.
Completely different style of artwork. I think I spent a lot of time as a younger artist chasing styles, and then after a while, I sort of figured out that it'd be better to be able to produce different styles for different stories, right? Yeah. So when you think, because I'm a big film fan, if I ever think, if I have a movie idea, I always think the aesthetics are always different in my head, in your fantasy movie, and that's how I think of it when I hear different comic stories go. I think, a certain style would be much better for that. Obviously, we'll finish the Rokan thing. I think one day I'd like to do something that had a totally different aesthetical style, so I could flex that muscle as well, do something completely different.
Well, we can probably work something out with the next story arc that's going to come after Asadi.
Yeah,
I've planned out, which was actually, interestingly enough.
Can I say the name of it? Is it a secret?
I don't know how much Dave wants to release about that.
Okay.
Can you tell me the genre?
It's futuristic, cyberpunk, psychological / partial fantasy. It's fucking cool.
I'm gonna write it in the private chat. Let me know if this is the same story or if it's another one that I don't know about.
Sounds cool. Anyway, the stories are gonna mend. That's the one.
Okay.
And that style.
Cool, mate.
That was actually the story that Dave pitched to me when I first met him, because he found me on Instagram based on a mutual friend that we had, and he messaged me. He's like, "I've got all these ideas for these comic books, and I want you to draw them, bro."
That's the problem, isn't it?
You're the guy. You're for sure.
That actually makes sense because of like the cyberpunk science fiction style that you like drawing a lot.
Right. So he approached me. Like, I was like, all right, well, I mean, I'll meet you. How about that? We'll talk about it. He sat down with me at this coffee shop and just talked to me like a fucking machine gun for an hour about this story.
I bet he did.
I was like, this is one of those opportunities that I will see come up later if I say no.
Yeah.
In a way that I am looking at it from the outside. I'm like, fuck, I could have been that guy.
Especially when it's coming out of someone that's like high energy like that.
Right. So he pitched this whole, he was like, here's how the story starts. And he went all through this whole fucking arc. And I'm like, just listen.
I think I had that conversation with him at like 3 a.m. one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, this sounds fucking tight. I was like, I'm on board. So this story takes place like 70 years in the future from now. And there's espionage and fucking gunfights and like cartels and spies and all this mystic shit going on at the same time, which ties into Asadi, right? So while we were, and then I deployed like that. I didn't have a deployment plan, but I got called up and I went. So during that time, while I was gone doing concept art for this other book, he was like, actually, we're going to do this completely other book. We're going to do this complete other book style that is not yours at all.
Well, didn't he get the idea for the Asadi like while he was deployed? Because he was like over there rubbing elbows with.
Well, I think he was like mentally writing Asadi and this other story separately, simultaneously. And then he's like, what if I brought them together? So he decided that we were going to not write this other book right away. We're going to write this completely other style series. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out all this ancient shit and all these buildings and like all this.
Got to learn how to draw pyramids and armor.
All this crazy shit, because the other stuff I can just fucking make up and it looks cool.
Right. Yeah, it's
but now it's like, oh fuck, now this is like historically like reference.
Try and reinterpret the story into your style as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah,
it becomes easier then. Like, what instead of trying to going, oh, have I got to throw my style out the window to draw this historically accurate building?
Well, it's still
take the building and get.
Yeah,
and go, what's it look like?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm fucking it's made me more adaptive. Like I really think that this project has like forced me to become better. Like
I think I've noticed you become better as an artist, if you don't mind me saying. Like I think your current stuff, it looks a lot better to me than even a few months ago.
After doing that comic, there's no way you wouldn't. There'll be a massive spike.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Ben. In the most humble way possible, but like I'm getting to the point where I'm like I have to look at my stuff like objectively, to see like where I really need to make improvement instead of just being like, oh, I fucking suck, and that just doesn't help me.
What do you hate drawing the most?
What do I hate drawing the most? Oh my god, you know what? Actually, I have a really hard time connecting the head to the body.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just this like and like this angle right here, like placing this shoulder is a huge pain in the ass for me.
I fucking hate drawing vehicles, man.
I love drawing vehicles.
I know. I've seen them. They're really good. I fucking hate doing it.
I promise no cars in Rokan. So.
Yeah. I'd do it. I'd get through it. But
we gotta draw this fucking sick chariot.
They would be.
Yeah.
They'd be all crazy, wouldn't they?
There's gonna be ships though. But you already know that.
Okay. Yeah, that's
what
fine.
else is there gonna be, Ben? Tell me.
There's gonna be a lot of naval warfare in the issues to come. There's gonna be pirates and Ramosi ships, which I want to kind of do them like those Greek ships with the. Well, I'll just show you what I'm talking about.
Like the big oars and shit.
Yeah, there's
bunch of guys all sweaty and shirtless.
Google Greek ships, and it shows me modern Greek ships. That's not what I want.
It's just going to be pages and pages and pages of that, mate. Yeah, mate. I'll get through those pages really, really quick as well.
The next one.
I've added a page.
Suddenly, all my backers were female. I don't know. That'd be great.
Well, like I want to do something like this. Dave's really good at StreamYard, but I gotta learn how to do it. Share screen. All right, share screen. Are you seeing this?
No.
You're not seeing my screen?
I'm seeing you.
You're just seeing me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to click share again. Oh, there's the share audio. Okay. You see, like this kind of ship?
Oh, that's better.
With the eye, you know, and the painting, and the nose here, the mast kind of thing here.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that kind of style a lot. Something like this, you know.
The one I've drawn is go up.
Go up.
Yeah, go up. Top right.
This one.
Yeah, the one I've drawn in
What are
the
you
sketched
doing?
out in the book looks a bit like that one.
Okay.
I figured that's what you wanted.
That's pretty good. I mean, I also want you to use your imagination and do
I
your
just
own
used
thing.
it as the template for my crazy shit, you know.
Because there's
It's got
multiple.
like a big head on it as well.
There's different tribes as well, so there should be like at least 2 different basic styles of ships. You know.
Okay. It's just for the pirate guy. It's like that, but a pirate ship.
Well, the ships that are actually from Ramos, like the Ramos Navy, should look Greek.
Okay.
But so that's different. So you can, so it's the ship you've done already. It's good that it doesn't look like that, because like the pirate ships and other people's ships shouldn't look like those, you know. Because remember that Ramos is like the jumping off point for everything Ramos is Greco-Roman, you know. So
I got you, bro.
those ships should look like that. And then there's this tribe that I made up that I'm calling Odlunta. And I had the idea of like merging Viking aesthetics with like Maori. Cause like I had the idea like
Okay.
what if there was some like Maori or Hawaiian or something like that, like that kind of society, you know.
Well, that's cool. I
But
like that.
But what if they were raiders, the way the Vikings are raiders, and because they have these islands where there's not that many resources, so they take their ships out raiding and pillaging everything else. So like,
Yeah.
what if you combined those 2 aesthetics? And I think it would work, you know,
Yeah,
because
it would definitely work.
because you could have like
100%.
tattoos, you know,
Yeah.
but like mix in like Nor similar to Norse mythology gods and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, round
Tattoo,
shields and axes.
tattoos and beards and horns and
Exactly.
Dudes who are just fucking huge.
Tattoos and beards and
massive
horns,
bastards. Yeah.
massive dudes, but then have them like look like Maori, like Maori plus Viking equals Lunta is the
Yeah.
idea.
That's
cool.
fucking tight. That's metal, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very metal. Yeah, it fits really well.
that's what I want to do. So that's part of it. Like, I mean, I could. The thing is, I can't just spoil. You know, I'd love to just tell you both what's gonna happen next, but
You can spoil me all you want.
do that. We'll do that in private, Nick.
You got to fly up here, big dog.
I'll be on a different stream.
Yeah, my OnlyFans. Oh, I didn't link you guys to my OnlyFans. It's just me crying. I don't know if you want it.
It's just me crying. The people that subscribe, it's not like gay people that are into you. It's like your enemies that they want to see like your private moments of sadness.
Nobody
Yeah, fuck you, Nick.
Like, yeah, fuck that guy. I hate that. Yes.
I knew you were depressed. Ha!
That's not
Tier
hard
one.
to produce. Oh.
Tier 1 porn, boy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Dude, still no Dave. Where's this guy at?
Yeah, I think he's still working.
Oh, it's like he's got a busy job or some shit.
It's like he has a family or something. Whatever.
It's like he just had a kid or some shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Has he just had a kid, is he?
Three.
He just had a kid.
Yeah, he had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I work full-time and I have 3 kids and I run my own company.
Look at me, I'm fucking doing shit.
Dude, I feel like such an underachiever next to him. Like, seriously.
Nah, it's not. You shouldn't look at
He's
it.
been at the right place at the right time and with the right attitude. You know.
I mean,
you shouldn't look at it like that, though, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's the wrong way to look at things. I mean, there's a lot of things. Like, there's also that chronic illness that I have to deal with. That, you know, I like to pretend that that's not a thing, but that's a thing, and that does take a lot of energy out of me. So
yeah, you should fucking own it as well.
yeah,
just own your shit, man. You can't look at it like that. It's because it's just different. It's like me getting upset that you can, you know, you're writing these giant worlds, and then I'm spending days on doing a page. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They're not comparable. They're just different.
You're right.
What you and Dell do are totally different. You're both aiming at the same target in completely different ways.
And Ben, dude, I'll tell you, man, like I think about this since we've been getting to know each other fairly often, but most recently in like the past couple of weeks, like writing my own stories, and I'm like, man, I wish I could, like, just the way that Ben just makes these fucking stories is fucking phenomenal, and I'm just so envious of that. And I feel like in my mind I get like these microcosms, like of like whole universe for like 4 minutes, and I like imagine all this shit, and then I don't fucking write it down, and I forget about it.
It becomes even harder because even if you do write it down, because then you realize you've got to unravel the mess. So I have. So I'm good at concepts, but as soon as you need me to unravel it and break it into acts and put a story arc in it, and then figure out a depth to a character, then I'm fucking done. Then I can give you
luckily for guys like us, the framework is already written. The heroes are already written. Like fucking, there's rules to it, and you just find a way to navigate through those rules and bend them a little bit in certain places, and that's what gives you a unique character. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
Well, thank Nick. That makes me feel a lot better. Sometimes I know you do. That's why it makes me feel better. Sometimes I forget that the things that I'm good at, not everyone's good at.
There you go. See, the same as me, really, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like you forget that people are watching you do this stuff, and they have a certain perception of what you do because you're fucking really good. You know what I mean? Like you forget that people sit down and like, God damn, Ben is fucking good at writing and shit. You know what I mean? Like you don't.
Yeah, I never think about that.
Yeah,
because like with an artist, it's like an instantaneous validity. Like in 1 second, someone can see how good you are.
So that's the trade-off that you get.
That's different.
For being able to create so much, at the speed that you do. The trade-off is then the accolade comes later.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my accolade.
You'll get it, but you just got to wait for the book to come out.
Yeah.
You got to remember your skill is the basis for mine. Like if you didn't write it, I couldn't draw it, and I probably wouldn't because artists do fuck all.
Right.
Sorry, mate. Go on. You got that backward. I've got that backward, haven't I?
No, you're absolutely fucking right. Because what I was gonna say is like, yeah, like I could draw a fucking cool picture of a hot sci-fi chick, and people are like, yeah, that's cool, right? But that takes 2 seconds, right? But then you write a story about something, and somebody invests time reading it, and they build a bond with your story and the person who wrote it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that your art form is just. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it, but I think if someone is taking the time to absorb it, it's a lot more impactful than cool comic book drawings. Not to degrade cool comic book drawings because they're fucking. Like, I'm blown away by fucking Max's drawings. I'm like, God damn, that's badass.
Yeah.
But as badass as it is, it wouldn't have as much weight if it weren't the story that it is.
Absolutely, artwork is way, and that's the other trade-off the other way. Artwork, I mean, unless you're in those circles, like fine art circles, artwork tends to be more surface level, and writing is just infinitely deeper. It just is. Yep,
absolutely agree.
Don't underestimate your talents, mate. It's easy to forget when you're used to being able to do things, and I think that might be why like a lot of artists have imposter syndrome, or they get down on their work, or they have periods where they dip because you forget where you started. You get used to a certain level of drawing or painting, and if you're not consistently going beyond that, then you're like, well, I'm fucking shit, and then my wife will come in and get on at me for being a moody bastard. She doesn't understand why.
Well,
and she's right. But she's right because I'm starting at a level where I can already draw and paint, and I've been doing it for fucking 40 years.
Yeah.
So and I'm forgetting that, most people don't do that.
Most people can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how many times in your life have you heard someone go, "Oh, I wish I could," and you go, "All right, here's
do
do
it.
And they're like, "Well, I mean," and then you got to take into account, like, fucking, dude, it's like so much of your life that you've invested in this, and you're excellent at it. You're excellent at it.
Yeah, sit down and cry about it, and then you'll be. By the time you get to that point where you're upset that you're doing it, you'll probably be pretty good then.
Yeah.
You don't. Ironically, when you're not that good, you don't really doubt yourself, do you? When you first start doing something, you just.
Oh man.
It's just that love for it, and all that matters is you're just doing it. I imagine it's the same with writing as well. It's just sitting down and doing it is the key.
That's true.
I have to keep putting myself back into that mindset of being a young lad and just doing it because I wanted to do it.
Well, what you said,
piling all this shit on top of it.
What you said a while ago, Max, I think is so important. Like, there's days or nights when you're inspired, and yeah, I call it when the muse comes. You know, when the muse comes, you get a lot done. But then the problem is the muse doesn't come every night, but you still have to work even when she's not there.
Yeah.
Then that's the tricky part. But what I've been discovering, because like I'll be honest, I've been so since I wrote Rokan before I met you, so I've had my part in some way, to some extent, my part of this endeavor is done already before we even met. So I've had less work to do for Rokan issue 1 than you, and that's still the case while the rest of the pages get drawn. And so my intention and my plan was perfect. Then while Max draws these pages and catches up, I will hammer out the rest of the story and outline it and come up with other stories and write all of those. And I haven't done nearly as much as I had meant to do. You know, never do. Procrastination is a real thing. But what I'm getting at is, like, I had the luxury of coming up with Rokan over a long period of time and then writing it.
Sure.
And so what I'm realizing now is if I really want to be serious about making comic books and making other titles besides Rokan, and I do, and I am, what that means is that I have to be disciplined to the point where I have a system where I make progress damn near every day, whether I feel inspired or not.
You do, but you also have you must have a system where you take time out as well. Like, you've got to.
Yeah.
You don't go the other way and get obsessive. And like every time you sit down to do something you want to do, you're thinking about, oh fuck, I should be upstairs doing my work. It's a life balancing act, but it's good to have a schedule. That's a sign of starting to take things seriously when you have a schedule.
Yeah, I think it's the schedule is the key thing, because that frees you. Because that's how I was when I was writing my master's thesis. I was really late handing that in. I just blew it off and got late and got later, and so, but that entire time when I wasn't writing it, I always felt like a knot in my stomach, like I should really be researching and writing my thesis. So you can't really enjoy yourself, even when you're procrastinating.
That is exactly how I felt during issue 1. Like, I would sit down on the couch, like I would have a fucking horrible day, and I'd sit down and be like, I just want to play Battlefield for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even enjoy playing Battlefield because I had
the whole time
book sitting on my drafting table waiting to get fucking done.
Yeah. So that's why having a schedule is really important. And even though having a schedule on the surface seems like it's totally against an artist, because you want to be free and you want to do what you want to do when you want to do it. But Ben's right; it is actually quite free. Like, once you fall into a schedule that you do time and time again, it doesn't become a drudgeon. It doesn't become something you haven't got to worry about. And the times that you sit down and have fun, you actually have fun.
Yeah, and
then when you do something else, go ahead, Nick.
It also like if you're not doing it, but you've done it during the scheduled time to do it, and then you move on, and you do something else, like, okay, I did it for that prescribed amount of time. Now I can set it down and not feel bad. You can go on and
Exactly.
the rest of the day.
And then your video game or whatever other things you do, you enjoy them more because you're not like stressed.
Yeah,
Man,
exactly.
sometimes I'll have days where I only work 45 minutes at a time because I can't concentrate for that long. So I'll do 45 minutes and then I'll nip downstairs and have a quick blast on Call of Duty, and then I'll come up for another 45 minutes, and then you have to keep refreshing your mind. And they say that like when you're revising, that's the best way to do it, don't they? Like if you do 30 to 40 minutes, take 10 minutes off, and during that 10 minutes, your energy levels go back up to something similar to what it was before, but not quite as high. And that way you can keep going through the day. If you just try and force it out, like in one long chunk throughout the day, your energy levels drop after the first 40 minutes and they never go anywhere as high. So learning this balance between work and play and really being able to switch off is important, and not feeling guilty about it either. Because otherwise you just don't enjoy anything. You don't enjoy your work. You don't enjoy your play. What's the fun? And if you don't enjoy both of them, what's the fucking point in being alive?
You're probably more productive if you take a break than if you just try to have an entire day of being productive. That's something I've realized as well. Like with writing, I've been experimenting with different scheduling formats, and for a while I thought it would be really cool if I had like the days where I don't work, I just write, and I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write all day, and I'm gonna get so much writing done. No, it doesn't fucking work that way.
Nah.
It doesn't work that way.
Very, very occasionally you'll have days like that where you're like, how the fuck did I do this?
Yeah.
Few and far between. I write a little list down, like a long list, and I tell myself I'm going to knock 4 or 5 off this list, and then I break the drawing down into tiny little things, and every time I hit a little goal, I'm like, right, I'm going to go down and just or relax for 10 minutes, and then I'll come back up, move on to the next one, and I always feel recharged. I do that. I can do that all day.
That's a good way to do it.
It took me years. Just to figure out. That sounds so simple. It took me years.
They say, these are the kind of things that are simple in retrospect, but they really aren't easy to figure out.
I know. I swear to God, like I have memories of being able to force stuff out as a kid and being happy with it. But I suppose the quality was dog shit, and I just didn't realize. But when you start taking things seriously, when the pressure's on, I don't think many people can work. Some people can. There are some aliens that can just sit down and smash out work, and they can smash out work, and they're like the 1%.
What happens to me is that every once in a while, I'll just get in this certain frame of mind where I'm more in the other world than I am in the real world, and the ideas just come and the pieces fit together, and I can write for like 3 hours straight and make really good progress. And so I wasted a lot of time waiting for those days and feeling like if I wasn't in that frame of mind, then I wasn't going to get done. And what I've come to understand is that those days will come, but they're infrequent. And so I have to write even on days when it doesn't happen that way, you know?
Well, you take the Grant Morrison code of writing, which is he calls it summoning, doesn't he? He summons the thing that he wants to be around. So whatever he's trying to write about, he surrounds himself with these things. Instead of waiting for it to come, he forces himself into that state. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
Top boxing, they say a saying that's if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. If you don't hit me, I'm going to hit you back. Which basically means don't wait for someone to throw a punch before you throw a feint, and then just throw the feint and then throw the punch. Right. Doesn't matter if he's throwing the punch.
Strike first. Strike hard, no mercy.
Yeah. Don't wait for someone to chuck a punch at you before you duck it. Just duck it, and then.
No, that applies to writing. Yeah, don't wait for the muse to come and tell you her ideas. You have to go in and hammer them out.
Same with that, man. Yeah. Some mornings I just have to scribble through 5 pieces of A4 before I could remember how to draw again. Like Nichols say, some days you just feel like you can't draw. Like I can't. This is all I can't draw anymore. And
I can feel it. I know, like the days that I can't draw before
yeah,
sit down, I can. But what I was going to ask is, do either of you have a specific area or like a room set up just for your creative endeavors?
yeah. This is my office.
Yeah, and Ben.
Well, I only have one room in which my earthly possessions are all placed. But my room is kind of like a transformer. I change the furniture around depending on the purpose.
Yeah.
I have mats that I put down to do jujitsu, and I like
Nice.
pull my bed up against the wall when that happens. I have a sofa that I move this way. So I put the room into writing mode when it's time to write.
Yeah, I
And
asked, like, I find that my external environment very heavily affects my ability to be creative. Like,
Yeah.
I went off and did a training event, and I was basically sitting out in a building somewhere for like 3 fucking weeks. I wasn't doing any of the training. I was just out there. And in my mind, before I went, I was like, I'm gonna have all this time to fucking draw, right? So I brought like,
right,
you know how much drawing I got done?
probably not very much. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to sit down and try to get into it, but like I just hated where I was so much. Couldn't fucking draw. So I have to be comfortable or inspired. Like I like being in cafes because I kind of like the buzz. And people walk by, that's a like, wow, she's got a figure or whatever, and I'll be able to keep drawing. And that's usually when I do like my practice stuff, my sketching. But when I really want to hammer out pages, like I go home, I sit at my drafting table, and I have my drawings up on the wall, and my music in my ears, and
That's
all my
it.
everything's set up, and it's comfortable, and then I can crank out pages. You know what
That's
I
the summoning. You're summoning the feeling. That's it.
I'm in this world, and I have to just shut everything out.
I have like
Solely on.
I fucking hate drawing outside. I can't draw outside. I think I fucked up a drawing when I was about 8 in the playground, and I've just never been able to draw again outside. I fucking hate it.
Well, how could you be comfortable outside, right? You've got to
don't
have
know.
things the right way to draw. You can't, you know,
My,
like
my missus will always go, "Come on, we'll have lunch outside." I'm like, I'm drawing. And she's like, "Just bring your pad out." Like, I can't. This fuck all.
no,
I'll get. I can't do it.
yeah.
But if like the setting is right and it's not right, like if I'm in the sun, I'm like, yeah, I can't. Like it's just blinding. If I'm like under a shady tree on a bench and like it's quiet around, I can sit there and sketch. It's not going to be great, but I can do it.
I think mine is just it's psychological now. I'm just as soon as I step outside, I just lose the ability to draw. It's like with fucking kryptonite. A lot of it is psychological. I think. Well, it is for me anyway. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I can find some places outside to be inspiring. Like my female associate, she and I would go to the cemetery in the town that she lives in, and it's really big and expansive and very beautiful, and there's a lot of like really old headstones and stuff. There's benches out there, and we bring like a blanket and set the blanket down, and just like we both draw. She's an illustrator as well.
Fantastic.
But just like I'm with somebody that I like, and it's quiet, and there's really nobody around, and there's a lot of shade, and it's like I can sit down and draw here. But if I was like just sitting on a fucking table, like on a street, like I'm not gonna be able to draw.
Yeah, some people can though. I suppose.
I don't know. It's just there's going on. Like I'm always like looking up and watching and stopping and looking up and watching.
Well, before the pandemic, I would always go to the library. That was like the perfect environment, and not necessarily because I would like look at books and get inspired by them. Most of the time, not. Although it's nice to have the option. Um, but it's just the feng shui. There's this particular library in Bogota that has like this like waterfall, these like terraced waterfalls outside, and it's built in like a circle. So when you're on the inside, there's these massive windows where you can see the waterfall outside, and then you can see the large, like circular bookcases. Um, Really magnificent architecture, to be honest. So been my favorite place to date to write, where I just sit there and the entire day will go by happily and productively. But I haven't been able. Libraries have been closed since lockdown, so I haven't been able to go there for months, which really
That's fucking.
sucks.
That's dreamy shit, man.
Yeah.
I would. I don't really do it so much these days because I pretty much have my full-size sketchbook all the time. But when I was living in Europe, I would keep a little sketchbook in my back pocket, like a pen and a pencil attached to it. And when I would sit down to have dinner or wherever I was, I would fucking pull my sketchbook out and just try to draw something. Like, it was never really that good. Working on really small. But like, just filling up that idle time with just getting some reps in.
Yeah, because like drawing's different because it's like a physical skill that you
Yeah.
need to practice and hone your muscle memory towards. So I mean that, yeah, reps. You're like almost like doing a sport. You've got to do reps, and that doesn't really apply to writing. But writing's weird because like a lot of times it feels like it's not even me that has the ideas, because there's ideas that work and there's ideas that don't work. And so like with the Rokan story, I've redone it so many times, and it never feels like a choice, because once the correct idea manifests itself, it's very clear that this is the right thing to do, and that no alternative idea would work. So it almost feels like I'm channeling it from somewhere else, because if I did Rokan
Yeah.
wrong, it would just be flat and it wouldn't work, you
Yeah.
know?
When I'm drawing something, I think Max is probably going to agree with this. I will have a vision in my mind of what I'm trying to look like, and then start, and the drawing will draw itself. Like, I will start, like, my intention go a completely different way. I'll draw it this way and that way, and like, I didn't vision it that way at all. But by the end
I'll
of the
tell you
time,
what.
it's completely different, and it's what it is.
If I've smoked enough THC, then I can see the picture before I even draw it. However, other than that, I think what my ideas are that I that I have before I do a drawing or a painting. I think I overreach, and so after I've finished whatever it is I've done, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look like the masterpiece that I wanted it to look like. So I get all pissed off because I imagine, I don't know, man. I imagine these like insanely detailed fine art masterpieces, everything I do, and it's just not possible, is it? I've always done that. I think I've always been an overreacher. I think that's why I get disappoint myself.
Well, I mean, it's better to envision yourself doing something more grandiose than just doing something that you're like, yeah, that is moderate.
Maybe.
You do a drawing,
it's up to everyone else in the end, isn't it? If what I think, I suppose.
You have to have ideas that exceed your capacity, because
all my ideas exceed my capacity.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but that's a good thing.
I'll hear a riff in my head, but the riff I actually can't play it. You know what I mean? But I can break it down as close to that as I can get. So if you have a grandiose idea in your head, get it as close to that as you can. Your idea should exceed your abilities, because then you're always trying to push.
Yeah, well, I think there's that, because there's an ending visual to it, like an ending static piece. It's the expectation versus reality thing again, isn't it? And they say all I've never really finished anything. I could work on the same piece for years, I reckon, but every piece of art. Why did I say you don't finish a piece of art, you abandon it?
God, I feel so bad about all my drawings now.
Yeah, we do, because you get to a certain point. I feel like 30% of it is me, and then the rest of it is me trying to save it from being shit. And then
That's so hard for me to understand as someone that's not an artist, because I look at your guys' work and to me it looks perfect. Like I wouldn't begin to imagine where you see something to improve.
Ethan Van Sciver describes drawing as being underwater and fighting for air, and I totally understand where he's fucking coming from. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just I feel like sometimes I feel like the whole thing was you're trying to rescue something. Unless an exception to that is like, so when I did the turtle picture twice,
Yeah.
the second time I didn't feel that way because it was already in my head. Like I knew where everything needed to go. So it was
And by the way, it's extraordinary how similar the two versions are.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, actually.
I know.
Like,
and the second one was in a fraction of the time as well.
Yeah.
I surprised myself with that. But yeah,
it's almost as if that painting exists in some ethereal, platonic, perfect universe, and you're glimpsing it and reproducing it.
It does. It's the idea sphere. We all reach into the idea sphere and pluck out the images and then filter them through our own personal filter, and that's what you get on the page. I believe that. I reckon ideas come from somewhere else.
Yeah, you sound like Grant Morrison.
I love Grant Morrison.
You've heard the concept or the practice of automatic art, right?
Of what, sorry?
Have you heard of
autoerotic asphyxiation?
Well, yeah, but no, automatic art.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember the artist that came up with it, but or who sort of coined it. I want to say it was somebody akin to Mobius.
Yeah.
Anyway, the idea is that you put your pencil down on the piece of paper and you just draw. You don't think about what you're drawing. You don't try to draw anything. You don't think about form or function or rhyme or reason or anything. You just put lines down. And I do that to kind of like jumpstart my creativity, but I end up drawing like these, I don't know why, but it sort of ends up being sort of similar every time, but they're like these like gigantic spacecraft that are made of like organic like vines and like these huge like pillars and spires with these cavernous passageways through them, but they always sort of end up being like some sort of fucking like interdimensional spacecraft. So, why do I draw that? I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Where does it come
from? I don't know. So repeating artistic motifs are something that's quite fascinating to me. If you go through, I don't think I've got anything on my Instagram page, but I have a habit of redrawing. I've been doing this for years, and it wasn't until one of my friends asked me why I did it. I was like, oh yeah, I've got this habit of redrawing like fetus looking babies in bubbles. I don't know. I have no idea why I do it. And like loads of my art.
I do that with skulls. Like I draw
skulls.
Yeah, like I know it's sort of a kind of bland thematic type subject, but
well, we can do something with a fetus for Rokan Volume 5.
Ooh,
yeah.
Be like fucking god damn it, what's the fucking the mutant's name on fucking Total Recall?
Quado.
Yeah, him.
Open your mind. Yeah, like that shit. Fucking Quado shit. Yeah, I don't know why people have repeating. I don't know why people have repeating repeating aesthetic motifs. It is weird. I don't know why. I've always drawn some things over and over and over again, and I think what makes it more fascinating is that I didn't notice. Somebody else would point out.
I really
Sorry?
want to try automatic art.
Yeah, I'll definitely try it. 100%. I'll try it tomorrow, and I'll let you know how I get on.
Do it.
It sounds
Do you
like the it sounds like the we're having trouble hearing you right now, Nick. It sounds like the automatic art technique that could be like how guys like Horodowski come up with those weird blends, or like Geiger even as well, where it's like
Yeah.
futuristic, but at the same time it looks like organic,
Yeah, there's
Well, what I draw, other people's automatic art is completely different, right?
Yeah, I see.
Logical explanation why your automatic art looks.
Let me ask you this: do you remember your dreams at all? If so, do you see things similar to your automatic art in your dreams?
Sometimes dreams kind of come and go, but the most recent dream I remember having, I was fucking drowning. So
So not because I the theory would be that it's like the mind's eye of your unconscious, but hard to prove that.
oh, he's
Whoops, we've lost Nick. It seemed like he was
gone.
having some internet difficulty towards the end there. Anyways,
Yeah. I go on.
I was just gonna say, hopefully, I don't know whether to call him Dave or Dell now. Hopefully, Dell jumps on soon, so you can go to sleep. What time is it
Don't
for you
worry
now?
about it. 2:00. Here he is.
Yeah, 2 o'clock on a Monday.
Have you ever heard of the artist called Baczynski?
Yeah,
Polish artist called Baczynski. He's called the Nightmare Artist. You should check him
it's
out.
really spooky stuff. I gotta plug my PC in.
link it.
Sorry?
Send it to me
Okay.
when you get a minute.
I'll
Yeah,
put
I
it
think-
in the chat.
I think that'll be right up your alley, Nick.
Well, I've been wanting to delve back into some of like the more ethereal, spooky type drawings that I really enjoy doing just for fun. I've been doing basically exclusively book stuff for the last 8 months, which I love doing it, but at the same time, like I take a notice that like I have been doing a lot of like really like personally creative. So hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll produce a couple of pieces that are more akin to the stuff that I was doing before.
Yeah, you'll have to show me when you're done. It's good to break out and just do stuff, just art for art's sake. Sometimes it's got nothing to do with any narrative. I think whenever I'm doing one, I sort of yearn to do the other, and then when I've finished that one, then you're sort of primed to jump onto the next one. I've put a link in the chat, in the private chat for you, so when you get a chance, have a little look. It's just it's a mini documentary on his life. It's not very long, but there's some of the pieces that he's done. They're wicked, but he was primed for like heavy metal sort of album covers and inspiration for horror movies and stuff like that. But he's a fucking great artist.
Go ahead.
No, saying he was really good. I think most of his stuff is sort of based. I think he was in the internment camps in World War II, and that's where some of his sort of visuals come from. But it's pretty fucking scary shit. Amazing painter.
Yeah, I can check that out. Next, it is 9:09. Yeah, where I am. Not that late, but I gotta go to bed.
Go ahead. Yeah, Dave says he'll jump on soon. He's just driving home.
Cool.
So
okay. Well,
Nick, man, dude, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you, catching up with you, my man.
Max, forever talked. So I'm really glad to see you, and guys, getting funded. I can't wait to see the final product.
Yeah, me too, mate.
send me like several copies so I can
Oh
distribute
yeah,
them
for sure.
to the respective jobs.
Yeah, man. I
Okay.
look forward to working with you soon. Then.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Have a
Easy,
good night,
brother.
Nick.
See you later, Nick.
Thanks
Legend,
again
mate.
for having me on.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for coming.
All right, y'all.
Good night, bud. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, he's cool, isn't
He's really cool. Yeah, Dell should be hopping on here any minute now. And then you can go to sleep. So
he?
we talked about this a little bit with Nick, but not really like intentionally. We should talk about like what did we learn on the campaign and like oh well here's what we should talk about, the stretch goal. We've got
Oh, the cards.
yeah. So the art's done for the cards and we need $1,000. So I'm pretty sure this math is correct, but they cost $250 each to make. So that's $5 per person because it's two cards. So if we make 200 issues of to make 200 issues of Rokan, they'd need to have two cards each. So 5 times 200, I believe, is 1,000. So $1,000 on top of our existing goal would bring us to $4,000.
Are we when you add the tier, are you going to add it separately so anybody that wants to can just get that separately as well?
What I was thinking of doing is just automatically include it into everybody's
Oh, I see. I see. That makes
package
sense. Yeah.
that got a physical book. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that seems to be how stretch goals work, you know.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, you're
looking at
probably
other
right. Yeah.
from looking at other people's campaigns, they tend to be well, there's two kinds of things, right? There's add-ons and then there's stretch goals.
Maybe I'm thinking of add-ons then.
Yeah. So I mean, but I mean the question, it's still a valid question though, really. Should we make the cards a stretch goal, meaning as long as we can afford to make them, should we give one to everyone? That would be option A. And then option B would be, do we just make it as an add-on that anyone else can could pay
Add
a little
on.
that's the one, pay a little extra for and get, yeah. So I don't know. Let's talk about it. What do you think?
Well, if we hit the stretch goal is probably the best idea because
I think so too, because it's not likely that people will go back and buy another thing when they've already
they
made their
will
purchase.
they will when we've got a shitload more people buying the book.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to use sort of much more successful comics as a template because
We
they're
can't
much more
necessarily do.
successful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they already have a brand and recognition and a relationship with their customers. I think stretch goals the way to go because
yeah,
we're nearly there already. Fuck. In the last few days, we raised over $400. So I mean,
oh,
we reached the goal of 3,000 with 2 entire weeks to spare, and we've made another $400 in those 2 weeks. So we're asking, so to ask for, it's, I mean, it's very realistic to expect to anticipate another 1,000 because we're nearly halfway there already. We're 40% of that other 1,000 already,
yeah.
and the first 2 weeks haven't even expired. Let me
Right.
refresh the page here. Yeah, there's 6 hours left. You're good to stay up for 6 hours. I'm just kidding. We're not doing it. There's 6 hours left on the stream. We're gonna chat for 6 hours, obviously. Six hours left on the stream, and we've got 3,417. So yeah, another $600. I would eat my shoe if we didn't make that. So yeah, I think it makes sense to just do a stretch goal at 4K because I want everyone to get the cards, whether they
Yeah,
whether
so do I.
they whether they add whether they pay extra for them or not. I want everyone to have the cards so that'll I think that makes business sense, because then that'll generate interest for them. They'll like them, they'll enjoy them, and then here's what we do. So we give everyone the first two cards, and then the next two cards we make as an add-on because everyone's already got two, and so they're going to want the other two. I think that's the way to play it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if I gave you a free pack of Pokemon cards, and then the new Pokemon cards came out, you'd probably want to go and get the new ones.
Yes, it's the way you get people hooked on crack, isn't it?
Exactly. We're following the crack method. I don't know the name of anyone like crack cocaine pioneers. What was that? What was that gangster that they made the movie with Denzel Washington? Now I shouldn't make jokes about things I don't know about. That's yeah, but we're following that. We're following that template.
For sure. No, man, it's looking good.
Yeah, no, we're sitting pretty, mate.
How long does In Demand last then?
That's up to us.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, we should talk about that as well. Like, I don't think we can just go all the way through until well, I guess we can. Well, we're expecting to fulfill in November. So I think we can just leave it until then, until we're ready to print.
Oh, well, we might as well leave it up then.
Yeah, we might as well just get more money and get more books sold. I'm going to make 200 copies of Rokan. But then the tricky thing, we'll have to look and see how many of those. We'll have to look and see how many copies are meant to ship to the UK.
Okay.
And if you like, you can just print out that many exactly.
Sure.
And then just mail those.
They say overprint, don't they?
What's that?
They say overprint.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I think we should make at least 200 copies, whether we've sold 200 copies or not.
Oh yeah,
because
you're going to sell them in your next campaign.
Yeah, and not only that, but what Nick was just telling us about selling them in shops, that's very encouraging. That's an option.
Yeah, you can put them in shops. You can put them as perks or add-ons to your, whether it be an add-on to your next campaign.
So I don't know how many to print exactly.
Or you can throw them in. I mean, you'll have to tell me how much it all costs off there, and then we can work it out.
Yeah, I've got that written down somewhere. That's really a number that I need to memorize.
But I remember
Go ahead.
I remember hearing Ethan talk about the printing situation, and he was like, always overprint if you're going to do another campaign, because like down the line you might be selling I don't know, issue 4, and you still want people to get issue 1. You still want to get issue 1 to people's hands, you know what I mean, as well.
Well, you're right, because no one's going to come in on issue 4. They're going to want to read issue 1, 2, 3 as well.
Exactly. So you have you sell the book, issue 4, and then, I don't know, you have some kind of bumper package where you sell
all the previous,
all 3 or 4 copies. I think John Mailing's doing that now with his night shift books. Like he's just brought out the new one, but there's an option to pay it extra, and you get
all of them.
Yeah, you get the whole series. So if you don't overprint now, you're going to need to print more later, which will cost you more, because the more you print, the less it costs. The less it costs in the long run.
All right. Well, then maybe we should do 300 copies.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Or 150 here and 150 in the UK.
Depends how much you think. I mean, you won't be able to tell until the end of this campaign, really. Well, technically, until you start the next one. How much you think your fan base will grow?
Yeah, there's also that danger because and I think this is even more of a danger for the Mortal Asadi fan base. No offense, but just the fact that like a lot of the people that bought Asadi are like Persians, like ethnic Persians who think it's really cool, and it is cool that there's a Persian superhero because they're kind of not represented very much in pop fiction. But
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to manifest something negative that maybe isn't even going to be an issue. But I think one obstacle that could potentially happen is that a lot of those backers that bought issue 1 won't buy issue 2 because they'll be like, yeah, I already got it. I got the idea, the Persian superhero. I got one, and not get necessarily invested in the book.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Rokan, like nobody wants Rokan because he's they're from he's from their home country, right? He's not representing anything in the real life. So probably anybody that buys issue 1 is gonna want issue 2, especially since I've written it as like a cliffhanger on page 24.
Well, I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it as a snowball rolling down a hill.
Yeah.
So take a little time off pushing the book to get the work done, and then we should, while it's in demand, we should get back on the shows. The more people you want, more and more people. There are thousands of CGs out there. We ain't even scratched the surface. Like we haven't scratched the surface, man.
Yeah, I mean this campaign that segues really well into the other thing we meant to talk about. Like what we did do well, or what was successful rather, was going on the CG YouTube. It seems like every week I was getting invitations to be on new shows.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's because I would seek them out on Twitter and DM them. But for the most part, not. For the most part, they'd approach me first, which is astonishing, to be honest. But I think what happened was we did the first one with well, actually, the first one was that Blue Ninja out of
Yeah, he was
nowhere.
cool. He was nice
Yeah,
guy.
he was awesome. He really helped us a lot. But anyways, on the same day, on the day of the launch, we did his show and we did Preston Acevedo. And I feel like what happened from there was that people that saw us on those shows invited us to be on other shows. People that saw us on those other shows then invited us to be on subsequent shows. So it kind of just, like you said, a snowball, And so during those 2 months of the campaign, up until I got until the day that we fulfilled 3,000. There were always places to be on.
Yeah.
So the obstacle now would be to discover what other channels there are and try and get on them. That's going to take more homework on our part.
There's at least 2 that I know of that are
okay.
fairly big. The rest of it, for the moment, is just going to be about keeping the ball rolling on Twitter.
Yeah,
because the hook is on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's
hook for the people is on Twitter. Then you pull the people into YouTube. Then they decide whether they want to buy your book. Twitter
is absolutely essential, especially when it comes to being part of Comicsgate. Because we were following Dell's footprints, but to be honest, Dell kind of made that mistake of underestimating the importance of Twitter.
I understand it because no one really we didn't really want to go near it because of the bullshit. But I mean,
Well,
look,
I
each
mean,
to their own.
I
But
was
if you,
mad. I was mad at Twitter for banning all kinds of people that I like, including Donald Trump, by the way.
yeah, I know, but you just got to use them
Right.
for your own advantage. But if you got that if you hang in the CG banner on your book, then you got to get in with the CG guys. Really, if you're
I mean,
serious.
exactly. You just hang out with them, don't you? Because
Yeah, no,
I haven't had any debates
no,
or
me neither.
shitstorms with anybody, but it's because I don't follow like blue-haired, wokesters, So
Yeah,
why am I going to comment on somebody that I don't like?
exactly.
And
Yeah,
they don't
I
follow
haven't
me
really
either.
seen it.
They don't follow me either, so I don't interact with them at all.
Yeah, I was trying to tell Griff, but he was having none of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he doesn't. Fuck Twitter. He didn't want to go on it.
Fuck Twitter.
It's quite simple. Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, Griff's a smart guy, but the difference between Griff and Dal is the humility. Because like Dell will observe something that's working and be like, "Oh, well, I should do that." Whereas Griff really is loath to change his mind about something.
He's combative. I like it.
Yeah, he is combative.
He's funny as fuck. I'm not sure if he
He's,
realizes how funny he is to me though.
he's a good dude. Yeah, for the most part, he's cool. My thing with him is I can't tell if he's kidding. If he's kidding, that's fine. You can say whatever you want. But like sometimes I wonder, like, are you actually mad at me?
Nah, he's not.
Probably not, right?
He's just Welsh, mate.
Okay.
It's a British thing, that, isn't it?
Ari is Welsh as well, I think.
Yeah.
So is there a difference culturally or too much?
I don't know what parts of Wales they live in. I mean, that's like it's even smaller than England, isn't it? But it's
No, but I
just
mean like Welsh versus English, is it very different?
yeah. I mean, they don't like the English.
Right,
Basically,
but
the
it seems like
Scottish and the Irish.
everybody on that island it doesn't like each other, but other than that, they seem quite
No,
similar as far as I can tell.
yeah, the English, the Irish, and the Scots don't like the Welsh, the Irish, and the Scots don't like
Don't
the
like the
English,
English, yeah.
and the English don't give a fuck about. We like everyone.
It seems like envy, to be honest.
It's historical,
Right,
historical shit because historically we were bastards.
right. Well, people tend to dislike the winners, but
it's mad because I mean everyone's got like a bit of everything. I'm sure I've got Irish and Welsh in my family,
right.
so we're so close together. We're like
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, why are you bothering to dislike each other? And then the Irish with the northern and the southern.
Yeah. I went to the first time I went to university was in Carlisle, which is on the border of England and Scotland. So it was half English and half Scottish in the unis, and the fucking like they proper fucking hated the English. I remember quizzing one of them. Why don't you? It's just cultural now. That the English are pompous wankers, which isn't untrue.
Yeah, but you've got to take people as individuals. That's all.
Of course.
Individuals. All right. So tell me the ones that you're thinking while we wait for Dell to pop on.
What's that?
You said you had two channels in mind that we should try and get on.
Oh yeah, it was. So one was the actual channel of Commie Mark because we didn't go on his, did we?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we went on Charlie's London actually.
No, it wasn't hers. It wasn't her channel.
Whose was it?
It was.
It doesn't matter, but
it was one of her mates, but it wasn't actually her channel.
Right.
And so hers as well.
Someone from so both of them. Yeah, that's a double dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't read people from the UK. I like them very much, but I can't tell. Like I get the same sense with Mark that he doesn't like me, and it's probably not the case.
No, it's not. No, I don't get that sense.
Okay. I was disappointed, to be honest with you, that there were so many people on with us because
Yeah,
I made that costume to take the piss out of Mark,
yeah, I know.
and it kind of there wasn't time to get into it because of how many other guests there were.
You'll get your chance, mate. He's
Yeah,
just so he's the English, well, the British are deadpan anyway, right?
yeah.
But when you get closer to the centre, because he's only about 20 miles down the road from me, he
Oh,
lives in the closest city to me. He lives in Birmingham.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
so he's got that really flat Birmingham sort of Brummie accent. So you can't. There's hardly any inflection in it because he
Right.
sort of talks like that.
Oh, I see what
So
you mean.
do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't know. Like I imagine if you haven't got an ear for it, you can't. It sounds like he's in a mood.
You can't really
He's
pick up like
yeah,
the lilts in like the
yeah. But he's not. Yeah.
well
To be honest, does it strike me as someone that gets in a mood? Like he seems really laid back.
he seems like a lot of fun. Yeah. No, he's funny. I mean, he's funny as fuck. The guy who cracks me up all the time when I watch him on other shows. But but the question then is because like I'm reluctant to do that again. Because
Oh,
like you can't. Yeah, because like it feels a little bit cheap to wear the same getup again.
I bet you wouldn't remember.
You think he wouldn't remember?
Nah.
Then I should do it
Yeah.
because I put too much effort into buying all that communist bullshit.
Yeah, definitely do it, and then
All right.
just make something of it this time.
Well, I think the funniest thing about the whole thing is I don't think he'll ever bring it up, and I won't either. So, and that would have been fine, and that would have worked splendidly, except nobody could see me because there were like 16 different people.
Yeah,
You know
he
what I
has big
mean?
shows. Yeah.
But as long as I'm visible the whole time, as long as it's just the three of us, then it'll be a lot funnier, I think.
Yeah, he's a good lad, man. They were all really nice, actually.
I have the feeling, I think Charlie didn't know that I was joking.
About what?
I think Charlie at least didn't know it was a joke.
Oh, with your
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah, because she was like, "Oh, is that a butterfly on your hat? Oh, that's nice. I like that."
She won't being sarcastic. Charlie's nice as well.
Yeah, she's cool. So were those are the two ones that you were thinking?
Yeah.
Cool. I've had a lot of luck with Trash Compactor, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I've been on there twice, and I think that's been the biggest sellers actually.
They pulled in a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, really. I think I made like 600 the night that we fulfilled on Trash Compactor.
They like you on there as well, I think.
Yeah, they tend to. So I think what I'll do is just be a regular on Trash Compactor, but not even plugging Rokan.
Yeah, get
Just
on it, mate.
just show up on that show all the time. Yeah,
Do it. Definitely do it. That's another way to get more involved with the community. It's just about getting more involved with the community, I think.
that's it. Yeah,
I've been invited on a bunch of drawing streams.
cool. Oh yeah, you did one on Saturday. I meant to watch it. I haven't had time.
I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't have time. I was doing Rokan stuff. I wanted to get them. I wanted to get them cars done. There's another one on Saturday and Sunday. I'll do that. I've been talking to Preston about doing something with him as well.
Good.
So I think we're gonna do something. He wants to do some tutorial videos with me. Or
awesome. That's awesome. I'm really glad because he hasn't replied to me, which is his way, which is not a big deal.
Right?
Yeah. But that's good. I'm really glad about that because the stream we did with Preston, I was pissed because my internet was fucking up so much. But in retrospect, honestly, mate, a lot of obstacles. It's been like a movie. You know when you watch a movie and something bad happens and you think that's it, you're fucked, and then the bad thing turns out to be a blessing in disguise. That's happened like three
because me and
times.
yeah.
Yeah, because you and him tell our one solitary viewer what that was about.
we go, well, viewer, are you listening comfortably? Then we'll begin. We both got to talk about art, which we clearly both like. So we had a little, somewhat of a bonding session, and yeah, I might end up doing something with him eventually.
Yeah, that's good. Which honestly might not have happened if I'd been well connected, because the plan was for me to just talk about the book, and I got to do that plenty of times on other people's shows.
I
So
think that
it's
night
good.
was
It's
it
good.
was a storm of you not having your internet working. Us, we were talking about that, and instead of the book because my pitch wasn't good at the time, and but also I think during the show we did. I mean, we had some pretty bad news during the show, didn't we? Well, it felt like bad news. That perhaps we'd fucked ourselves from the word go. So
Yeah,
I knew you were in a mood, man.
I was in a mood that night, but it's
Yeah,
okay. But I mean, most of the actual time of the show was you and Preston talking about art, and that was, I think, really important that you did that.
yeah, it was. It was for me. Yeah, it was
So,
good. Nice little leg up that.
so I honestly have no regrets about how that went.
Cool.
The same thing with Malin, because I was meant to go on his show ages ago, and I missed the chance because he doesn't confirm with you. He just sends you the stream the moment that he wants you to go on it. So I had figured that he hadn't picked me, and then I see the stream later, and I'm like, fuck, I missed it. So I was beating myself up about that for weeks. But then, thanks to you, we got on again. And to be honest, if I had been on his show recently, he probably wouldn't have had me back on, because he does, people don't repeat that show. A lot of people go on that show. So it's actually better this way, because then we were I think visible at a more key time in the campaign to bring it home.
Yeah. It looked better that you went on that time as well.
Right. So that one also worked out better for the best.
I was
It's
surprised as well when you told me. Like, I only did it on a whim because
wasn't it Phil?
Phil told me to try
Yeah.
it. And when you said that, like, he'd offered you it the first time, I was dead surprised. I was like, oh fuck, I had no idea. I thought he only had people on that had like already done one before. I didn't realise.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky to we were doubly lucky. We got invited twice on that show, and most people
Yeah.
don't get invited once if they're not established. I mean, we've just been really lucky, but like Nick said, it's not luck, is it? I mean, people see the book, people read the description of the story, and it's just a better story than most, and it's better art than most. So I mean, we deserve it. It's not.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, what are you talking about? Hopefully, it is, man. It is.
Where the fuck is Dell?
Yeah, I know.
Dell,
If you
I know you've got a family and that, mate, but I want to get a bed.
if you need to sleep, man, go for it, and I'll just go
Read some
over like.
read some Jackanory.
You know what's funny? Actually, I found in the attic of this house where I live. So I live in a really old house, and I just
Yeah.
rent a room, and there's other roommates and stuff. So in the attic, I found this journal of this girl that used to live here, like in the 90s, and it's quite funny to read it. So in the interim, I'll just read embarrassing chapters out of some girl from 1993 that lived here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like I'm not really gonna read it on air. That would be really gross to do. But it's funny because she goes into like detail about like the guys that she was interested in and stuff. and gets really personal, as you can imagine. But it's like,
Yeah.
shit, man. Like, I bet you wish you hadn't left this behind by accident. Like, sometimes I
No
think I should
way.
just burn it, because it's real personal.
Shit, dude.
It's funny, yeah.
That's interesting as fuck, though.
The other thing I found in the attic was a little drawing pad. That I will show, actually, on the air right now. So take a look at it. Look at this.
Are they actual sketches?
Yeah, they are.
Huh.
God knows how old they are. Probably decades old, actually. Find a good one. I mean, and it's not bad. It's good art as well.
Fuck it. It is good.
I don't know who's done them. My theory is that it was my landlord's mum before she died.
How old's your
He's
landlord?
he's 50.
So fucking hell. So it could be pretty old then. I'd keep them, mate.
Yeah, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scan them all and put them on a hard drive on a USB.
Whoa, she's a good sketcher.
Yeah, they're good, man. I'll find a. Look at this horse, because horses are like notoriously difficult to draw,
Yeah,
aren't
they're fucking solid.
they? Yeah,
Yeah, that was a proper good artist.
yeah, and I think it was his. Look at these horse legs. Like probably it was like an assignment for a class to draw horse legs. So what I'm gonna do? He's turning 50 in a couple of weeks. So yeah, this is good. I'm gonna take this sketch pad and scan every page, digitize it, and then give him the USB with all the scans and the sketchbook, and be like, "Here, mate, I found this in the attic. It's probably your mom or someone in your family that's drawn it. So happy birthday."
That's fucking cool. Right, dude, I'm gonna have to make a move.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm up at fucking quarter
I
to
know,
6
dude.
tomorrow.
I know, dude. Yeah, we kept you too long already.
That's
Yeah,
all right, man. I enjoyed myself. Had a good night.
cool. Dell will hop on in a minute, and I'll just go over some numbers and things like that in the meantime.
No worries, brother. I'll
Cool.
I'll give you a text tomorrow.
Okay, man. Get some rest.
Easy, bro. See you later.
Peace. See it. All right. No one's watching, but that's okay. Let me refresh the page. There are 6 hours remaining on the campaign. I'll stick around for an hour waiting for Dell. And in that time, I can talk about my plans. So, Rokan is going to be the number one priority for me, myself, and Max for years and years to come. There'll be many issues. I've got the issue 1's done, written, and there'll be several issues after that. I told Nick 8. The reality is that arc is going to take 10 issues to tell, but it might be okay if the crossover comes out like maybe between issues 8 and 9 of Rokan, even though chronologically it happens after issue 10. That's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? Rokan fans can just watch, can read both books and figure out the order, and we'll you know, so that's fine. We'll see. Yeah, so there'll be an Asadi crossover. There'll be. I won't. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you this: the first 5 issues of Rokan will be. No, the first 10 issues of Rokan will be the origin story. The first 5 issues or so will tell the story that is the novel Rokan, Volume 1, that's written so far. Rokan the Novel Volume 2 will also be written. It's not written yet. Combine those 2 volumes. So Rokan Novel 1, Rokan Novel 2 or Novelette. So Rokan Book 1, the novel, Rokan Book 2, the novel. Those two tomes together will be the same as the 10 issues of the Rokan comic book. And that will be the origin story of how Rokan obtains his powers, how Rokan obtains his mindset, his outlook on life. And that'll be, so we'll call that Rokan Volume 1, how he becomes this hybrid badass. And then Rokan Volume 2 will be an adventure with he and two others like him. So what that means is that Calisorn and Beldak will follow Rokan's lead and advice in being warrior wizards. And so they're warriors to begin with. So they'll figure out and learn from Rokan how to use magic and develop their own different magic abilities. And so then they'll have three superheroes of our design and our creation with different superpowers, but all of them combining magic with warfare and weapons. Then we'll have Rokan Volume 3, which will be a return to Ramos for Rokan and company. But Rokan's coming back as a warlord this time with an army. And if I say more, it'll be spoily. And then we'll have Rokan Volume 4, I guess, 4 or 5, depends on how many issues and how much it grows in the telling, which will be a prequel. And it'll be about Rokan in utero before Rokan is born, seeing as how Max is so keen and so good at drawing fetuses. And also we have some really cool ideas about Rokan's parents and the story and what's happening in the Rokan universe during the time of Rokan's mother's pregnancy. And so the idea there is like a lone wolf and cub thing, but what if the cub was a fetus that's not even born yet, that you've got to protect? Not only are you carrying a kid around in the carriage or whatever, but you're carrying the kid around in your womb, and you've got to protect him. And then Rokan Volume 5 will be no, I can't tell you anything about that one, because if I tell you even the premise, it's spoiling massive great bits. So yeah, stay tuned because there's lots of Rokan to come. And then I've had the idea recently of doing I want to do a story about the legend of El Dorado. I want to play on the idea of Cortez. Basically the idea here is the Mayan calendar. Because I know Cortez was with the Aztecs, but he went looking for El Dorado, didn't he? And he didn't find it. But what if he did, right? And then the idea is, what if the Mayan calendar had been correct about the prediction that the world would end in 2011? What if that prediction had been correct? It's just that someone had stopped it from coming to an end ahead of time. So you've got like jaguar and vampire and bat, like undead warriors. What if there was an army of like undead warriors that were meant to destroy the world, and they would have done in 2011, but they were stopped by our hero. So I've been working on the Rokan story, so I haven't got that story totally fleshed out yet, but that would be another story that I think I would publish with Tier 1 Comics, because I think that it would fit in with that, with Asadi and Rokan and the other protagonists that we talked about with Nick, but that we can't mention the name of yet. All of them kind of go in the same line. They all fight with swords or sword-like thingies, and they're all warriors and they're all superheroes, blending superheroes with other kinds of soldiers. So that will fit in the Tier 1 Comics universe, expanded universe, perfectly. I'm also working on a sort of memoir about my time living in Bogota, but with a non-reliable narrator. So basically, I'm telling anecdotes, hyperbolic anecdotes about living in Bogota and weird things that happen with, drug abuse and strangeness and the art. So there were a couple of minutes there where there was no one on the stream, but I couldn't end the broadcast because I was offline. So I've just come back online to end the broadcast, but I may as well keep it going because I'm back now. So basically, it's a choose your own adventure story where you'll read the comic book and it'll be about the people that live in this old haunted house in Bogota and the things they do. And if you think you have your choice, if you think this happens, if you think the other thing happens, you go to this page or the other page. So it'll be choose your own adventure with weird, eccentric things that have really happened to me, but I'll obviously lie and exaggerate a great deal. And then the other book is The Haunted Jacket, which is about a guy, a Peter Parker type, who inherits this jacket, and he's a nerd. He's in college, and he quits being in college, and he quits studying and quits living with his parents once he realizes that people don't take him seriously, and once he realizes that he's not really respected for what he's doing, and decides he wants to turn over a new leaf, and he wants to be a cool guy, he wants to be a tough guy. So he gets this jacket. But what he doesn't realize is this is a bomber jacket from World War One, and it has the ghost of a suicide club aviator from World War One, and it also has the ghost of another previous owner who was a motorcycle gangster, something like Hell's Angels, and a rocker. So he has like basically he gets possessed at times by these three ghosts. So it's a person with four different personalities. I might call it tetraphenia, but I don't want to get sued by Pete Townsend. So I'll probably just call it Haunted Jacket. So yeah, those are all the stories coming down the pipe from from Ben Jackson as a writer. But yeah, for now, get your Rokan issue one. I'm gonna end it with that because Dell never showed up, and I can't just keep prattling on forever and ever. So yeah, thanks very much. I'll refresh one more time. $3,417 within the first 2 months. I'm still heading home 10 minutes away. Well, fuck. I'll just keep talking. All right. But as I was saying, $600 away from getting the stretch goal, and then we'll have 2 playing cards for all of you. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to show them. I'm gonna save the images. Max hasn't even showed me proper scanned images. He's just taking photographs of his computer screen because nothing's ever perfect for Max. So even though they're perfect, he doesn't know they're perfect, so he doesn't show them. All right, let me open this, and then I'll share it. Open. Oh, but I can't show WhatsApp, so I've got to download these and show them separately. Yeah, I can do that though. Okay. Yeah, this will be fine then. Images. And then the other images. Cool. All right, let me share that then. So this is Rokan as a young man. Rokan as he appears in the at the beginning of the story. Yeah, I mean Max had already drawn almost this exact same image. You've likely seen it on my Instagram, on his Instagram, the Rokan Fiction Instagram, and also the Indie Alliance with the mural. They based that the Jack comic art version of Rokan. I'm getting drunk if you can't tell from these two cachaças. They've based Rokan on this image. So Max had drawn this already, but he wanted to do it again because he wasn't satisfied with the other one. They both look perfect to me, but he likes this one better, so it must be better. Something only artists can notice. Yeah, so we've got, the turtle symbol in the corner here that Max designed. I like this layout of the image with a border around it, like the image is popping out from the border, and then we've got the name. That's the format we're going to use for all these cards. So they have like the same feel, as playing cards and that kind of thing. And then the other one is this one. Oh, I've got to do it again, haven't I? All right, share screen. Yeah, and then I'll share this one. Yeah, so that's the other one. And that's Abadir. That, if you don't know, that's Rokan's father. Same turtle symbol, because he's also a wizard. Later cards will have different symbols representative of those characters. And with that famous Slayer death metal font, it says Abadir. And here you can see it's not quite the same bloke as Rokan. He's got the shell, he's got the hat. So you're really going to want to have both of these. These are the two characters who feature most prominently in the first issue. So there you have it. Oh, we need $600 more to create those. Oh, Dell's watching. Cool, Dell. Dell, mate, I need you to hop on here soon, or else I gotta end the broadcast because I can't just keep prattling on by myself. Or maybe I should, but I haven't got anything else to say. Is the thing. Yeah, they do look sick. They look absolutely gorgeous. I'm really excited about those. And the idea is that every issue will make 2 new cards. So almost time. All right, I'll wait for you, mate. No one's watching anyways. This is just more more viewer time for Max's account. do me a favor. Anybody watching this, just leave it running to get the viewed hours up on this channel. I understand that we would have had more viewers if we'd gone on the Indie Alliance YouTube or even the Tier 1 Comics YouTube, but Max and I are going to start making more video content and streaming together because that's the Comicsgate thing to do. So that's what we're going to do. So that's why I wanted to do this here, knowing full well nobody would watch, but just to get, you got to start somewhere, right? And so just to start, to have the first streaming from this YouTube page, because we're going to start using this YouTube page more, not just for streams, but also for digital skits and animations that Max and I are working on. But right now, Rokan's a priority. So after issue 1's done, that's when you'll start to see some of that content. So yeah, I've told you about the stretch goals. I've told you about Rokan, the plans for Rokan. We've talked about the campaign, how it went. I want to talk to Del more about that, though. We talked about the crossover with Rokan and Asadi. And I even told you about all my other plans for books that I'm starting to outline and starting to write first drafts of. But Rokan is a priority. Here we go. What's up, yo?
Hold on, man. I gotta get rid of my give me a second. I gotta get rid of this yeah. Let's see. Alright, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah, so I was just talking with Nick and Max, but they both had to go to bed. So good timing.
Hey, dude, yeah, I got to catch Nick for a little bit on the what do you call it? You guys were talking about creativity and the creative space where they can't seem to get inspired, or where they would better feel inspired.
But yeah, but kind of our conclusion to that whole thing was like you have to be disciplined and follow a schedule, whether you're inspired or not.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our consensus, and that's something we've talked about before too, because like the importance of meeting deadlines and everything as well, because like it's not a hobby anymore at this point. Like the Tier 1 Comics is a business now, and the Mortal Asadi and Rokan, that represents like two commodities in that business. So we need to be like reliable and timely with putting out our product. That's the other thing. So yeah, so the way that works is just like, I think the three of us kind of agreed, like, well, what you have to do is keep to a schedule and keep to a routine of when you work.
My bad, dude. What were you saying? I had to tell my kid to put it down.
No, I was just saying, like, the conclusion I think that all three of us kind of agreed was like, you have to keep to a schedule and a routine, because like now we've all of us taken that step to where this isn't just a hobby anymore.
Yeah, dude. It's funny to say, because I feel like that's a lot of problem with a lot of people when they start getting into comic books. Is they kind of like take a while to release their project. But once you start involving more moving parts and other people and their other people's livelihoods, then it becomes like it becomes more than just you. You know what I mean? How you're feeling that day. because you can go through a slump, but like how long is that slump gonna last? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when other people are relying on you and you have a backing that's relying on you to finish something, then sometimes you just gotta find a way to break through.
Well, what works for Max, and I think is going to work for all of us, is that like he just has set times and amounts of time that he has to work on Rokan. And so the days when he's inspired, he'll get more done. Another day, he'll get less done. But the time that he's meant to be working on Rokan, he's not doing a damn thing else. And so that kind of guarantees that there's never a stop in production because he's always moving forward, in that allotted time. And that's a strategy that I think works really well. And I'm probably going to start using it myself.
Yeah, actually, it sounds like I might even do that myself. Uh, that's where I feel like I'm kind of at right now. Even with me, like with work and everything, it's been pretty busy. So like to try to find that time because Nick right now, Nick's pretty much just been practicing his art and is just waiting on me and JC to get some of the parts done for the Immortal Saudi. Like working on
So
the cover.
are you working on the script of issue 2 right now?
The script's done. Right now
Okay.
we're working on just getting together like the material he needs, the reference material he needs to make it come to life. We want to start with doing the cover. With doing the cover, and then hey Lupa, do you want the rest of this? Huh? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, dude, it's been a crazy day, man. Like
Yeah, that's okay. I know.
dude, I came out late. I worked super late. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna head over to my mic and stuff. That way we get better audio. I can engage with you more
Okay.
about this project because it's kind of weird doing it from a phone. I feel like I'm in Instagram live right now.
Yeah, I had to before I bought my new computer, I had to do a few streams from my phone. It always feels weird.
Yeah, you feel like you're FaceTiming somebody instead of actually like being in the show.
Yeah, and then also like you've got just the little rectangle of space that you appear on the
Yeah,
stream.
I don't know what's up with that. Let me
That always
see.
happens. That always happens.
All right, I'm about to hop off and then hop back on.
All right. So pretty much, I think what we're all trying to do in Tier 1 comics is get into a rhythm of production and output. And even organically without having to do too much planning, it's already kind of is the case because the Immortal Asadi came out before, and then the timing was perfect for Rokan to come out in the interim between issue 1 and issue 2 of the Immortal Asadi. And so then just following in that natural progression, then uh issue 2 of Immortal Asadi will come out, and then issue 2 of Rokan will come out, and then issue 3 of the Immortal Asadi will come out, and then maybe 6 issues into each or thereabouts, we'll do the crossover.
Hell yeah. What up, Ben? Hey, I just want
What's
to
up?
say congratulations, Ben. I remember when we first started this project, or when you first started this project and we first started like Tier 1 Comics, we talked about getting to this point where we actually led a campaign and we're successful at it. Um
Can you fix your mic there? I lost you for a sec. No, it's doing that quiet thing again.
Cable.
Yeah, now I can hear you again.
Test. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I remember when I told Nick in the beginning that like, hey man, like this thing, we're gonna get funded. He was like, man, I'll be happy if like what if we get $1 for it. I'm like, dude, people are gonna pay, we're gonna get more than $1, dude. Have some faith, dude. It's gonna be good. And like he realized, like, oh yeah, like, but yeah, dude, it's funny because like we talk about it in the beginning. We had I had that YouTube video about how to find your artist, how to start a comic book company, and now we're at now where both of us have led successful campaigns. And it's not easy leading making these campaigns, dude. It's a hustle. I mean, I feel like you like shout out to the comics gate community that really kind of pretty much came through for us in a lot of ways. The networking and everything, like I would have to give you a lot of credit for doing that, and Max. But it goes without saying though, like you guys didn't have an email list, none of that. Know what I mean? It just goes to show you, like when you know your art's good, and you have a plan, and you push it. Like you guys knew where you wanted to to promote it, and it worked. You know what I mean? Like look, you guys got funded. Like we did it. Tier 1 Comics. The you mean
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
bro.
despite the poor planning before launching, we got it and we reached our goal, and like, yeah, you're talking about Nick wasn't sure you guys would fund your campaign. Max wasn't sure we'd fund ours, but like, that just speaks to the vision and the faith that you and I each have in these stories and in what we're doing, you know, that we could push that hill, that push that mountain up the hill, because we know it's going to be worth it. We know that this is something valuable that we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, freaking, it's crazy, man. I remember when I got funded and you were congratulating me on getting my book uh funded, and I was like, Man, you're next." And look, here you are. Now it's just like after this, man, it's all fun. It's like fulfillment because it's like you got that monkey off your back of like trying to get funded.
Yeah,
And it's cool because the backers you get now, I mean the backers that you get when you're not funded are awesome because they're the ones that believe you and everything. But people are always like there's the people that that believe in you, and then more and more the people that fund it afterward are more strangers, which is kind of a boost of confidence because all those people that backed you before it was funded allowed that to happen. They're like part of why you're appealing now to people that don't know who you are. So it's cool for those people that support you when you weren't funded, because now they feel. I always feel this way about projects I fund. I feel like I'm responsible for that person being successful and being what do you call it, attractive to incoming uh, uh comic book consumers, I guess, you if you will. Like the people that go to your page now are going to be like, man, this guy got funded, like, oh man, now I know why, versus like the people that supported you were like, man, if only people can see how good this is. You know what I mean? We got to make it successful. And in all those people get confirmation too, you know what I mean? Like they back it and they see it's a success and they're like, hell yeah, like I was a part of that.
yeah, man, it feels good. And now the work comes because, like, right now for Rokan issue 1, the work is really Max's work to finish drawing. He's got, but we're in good shape though, because he's got 6 pages drawn out of 24. That's a solid 25% left, and the pace that he's been having lately, I feel like we'll get this done well in advance of the November projected timeline.
Mm.
And then, the work for me now is to polish up and edit the scripts for the upcoming issues. And then I've got other ideas, man, for other books that I want to write. Like now, like the snowball thing is real, man. Like since 2019, I told myself I'm gonna write Rokan and I'm gonna actually bring this story to fruition and complete this story and bring it to life and publish it. And that's happening now. I have someone, Mistwood Publishing. They want to publish the novel version of Rokan as soon as I'm done editing it too. And like now that this has come a reality, I'm getting new ideas for other books to write, which, that I want to make as comic books because I'm enjoying now that I've done both. I've written a novel and I've written a comic book now. Neither of them is published yet, but I still went through the whole process. And I enjoy the comic book more, man. So all these new ideas that I'm getting now, it's like as soon as you complete something, then your mind is free to be creative, and all of this like subconscious creative energy that's inside of you, it finally has a voice. And that's how I feel now that I got the monkey off my back of getting fulfilled. I'm getting I'm coming up with new ideas for totally different books. So that's it. Like just like Nick was saying, he wants to do more art and less of his job in the military. I feel the same way. I'm organizing my schedule and my priorities and everything around being a writer now and prioritizing that. And I'm really looking forward to starting the next chapter, which is to write some more scripts and write some more outlines. Because because like okay, in 2019 my vision was create Rokan and actually make it something physical and bring it to life. And I'm very close to reaching that goal. So the goal now is okay, have 2, 3, 4 ongoing series that I write all coming out, and ongoing, so that I can make money from all four of them. And because realistically, for now, I can't make a living off of Rokan.
Right.
I think that day is still many years down the line. But if I make successful campaigns and create books for 3 different stories or 4 different stories, that would be 4 times as much income for me. And then, you know, that's
Yeah.
it. That's my priority and that's my plan.
Yes, sir. You got this, Ben, man. Freaking, I'm so freaking stoked, like, to be a part of like this project and just like be there from the beginning, man. It's really been like a cool journey, and it's just begun. Like the most epic part, honestly, fulfilling is like to me the best part because it's like, uh, you actually get to feel it in your hands. Like it's like, even though like my first copies were effed up because of mix and printing, but still like the fact that it's like on paper and it's printed, you're just like, dang man, like
Dude,
I created it.
the last time I talked to you and you told I've got it written down in a bunch of different places, but I was like delirious from that sickness that I had, and for the life of me, I can't remember what notebook I wrote that down when you told me. So just tell me real quick if you have it, or else just DM me later. How much did it cost? Yeah, how much does it cost to print from Mixem for the 24 issue?
From
Um,
make some say I have it written down. Dang, it's like what I had up last. For make some, let's see. I probably have to look in my books because I wrote it down here, but
yeah,
I believe
don't
it's
tell me
cheap.
now, but
Yeah,
just
it's
just
like,
send me that date, that
yeah, it's around like
fact.
five. It's like around $500 for 200 copies.
That sounds
Like or
familiar.
450 for 200 copies.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
it's
figure
like,
that all out later.
yeah. So
So
like
yeah, man.
you could just
I,
always go in and mix them and then put like the amount that you want to put and stuff, and they do it for you.
oh yeah, I should have just
So
done
you
that.
just go use standard. I want you know what I mean, this type of lamination, like matte lamination or gloss lamination, and like they do all the work for you, and then I'll tell you like, and it's after like taxes and everything. They'll put the price. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that tomorrow. Man, I think we should sign on, man. I think that's
Yeah, man.
everything we needed to say.
Yeah, thanks
We're
for holding
we're
out for
all
me to
tired.
show up. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
for
you said
sure,
one
man.
day.
I wanted you to have your piece. I wanted you to say,
Yeah, dude, I wanted to be a part of this too, man. I wanted to hop on when Nick was on, dude. That would have been dope. Like
yeah, it was
you,
dope.
Max, me, and Nick. And I was like, dang, my boy Nick's on. I was like, ah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
two
dude.
the two the two creative teams behind the two titles of Tier One Comics, man.
Yeah, dude. I live in a weird area, so like the roads I take to get here, like everything just drops service. So
Okay.
and the thing is, even here at my house, like I was the only reason why I was able to sign on through my phone was because I had Wi-Fi. Like I was using, I logged onto the Wi-Fi as soon as I showed up, pulled into the driveway.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I had to get. Then my kids got home, and I had to pull them out of the car, and it was.
Yeah, and you're on the show on your phone, and then dealing with your kids and with your other hand, setting it up, and then by
Yeah.
the time you finally sit down at your desk, at your microphone, now Ben's talking about closing out the stream. You're like, motherfucker, I just got
No, man, it's
here.
cool, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to sign out too. I think it's good.
No,
I got
I'm
work
glad I
in the
waited
morning.
for you though, so you could say that piece about how, how you met me from day one and everything like that. So that was cool, man.
Oh yeah.
Thanks a
All right,
lot.
man.
It would have taken me a lot longer to pull the trigger on this if it weren't for you, man. So I'm really grateful to you.
Hell yeah, dude, you did it. No more talk. All game.
That's it. Tier 1 Comics.
All right, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. Peace.
Peace.